Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I'm done ranting. I'm done raging. I'm done dying. Well, that's not true. The computer is currently functioning as of this second in time. If this VOD suddenly cuts off in the middle of it, it's because the computer decided to randomly reboot, thanks to the hardware issues that we are technically still having as of this morning. So that's neat. The temperature is about 50 degrees Celsius, which is well within reasonability range. That's why I don't think it's the temperature, as I mentioned earlier. I forgot to update the website today. Before we get started, I do want to say shoutouts and thank you to the people who funded this run. Although this is this is interesting. So we've got, first of all, this run was put on the books so long ago. No, Mike Tamano, I just made up that 50 degrees thing off the top of my head. We started this run so long ago. This run was put on the list so long ago that there are people on this list who not only I didn't actually write down what they put towards it, because we only started doing that last year, but also some of these people don't watch my show anymore. So thank you to Ked Viper for however much he put in, Dysthmia Panic for however much he put in, Harriant, If and But, King Dunlep, Aggressor V, Scion of the Emperor, Carwelas, Wandering Bard, Nero21, DJ Turner, Kashtar, Razulia, Ciela _ Codex125, and the person who not only put this game on the list, but also is the person who is the majority shareholder, Sinister Wing _ 25, who put forward a little over 2/3 of the funding for this run by themselves. Thank you, all of you, very, very, very much for your support. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Good news is my finger is not doing as badly as I feared. You ever, so while I was putting the tower back together, that thing is heavy as hell, by the way. It got pinched in between two chunks of the actual case. And the solution there was to lift it up and basically pick up the entire case myself in order to remove the pressure so that I could remove my finger from the pinch point. Now, I'm a strong guy, so I could do that, but that was fun. But it's okay, it's okay. I was worried it was going to be even more damage than it is, but it looks like it's okay. I know what that feels like, and we're not there. So, woo! Thank you, Larian, for your support. Very, very much. Even though I'm going to be skipping getting groceries this week in order to try and cut up the, to make up some of the time. Don't worry, I'm not going to skip groceries every week. I actually already did the math, because, duh. Stardew Valley. I would have to skip getting groceries, or basically doing anything on my Sundays other than streaming, for 2 months solid to make up the time that I lost this last week. 2 months! 8 weeks. It is actually a solid 8 weeks. I would have to push my streaming schedule up to, what would that be, 75 hours a week in order to catch up, in order to make up lost time. Now, I'm going to do that this 1 week, just this week. But that's because because of the fact that I just went grocery shopping, I'm actually flush with groceries, so it's not a big deal this week. So I am going to try to, you know, get a little bit of extra streaming done. I've already talked with Low Reloaded. He's cool with canceling the Trek Rewrite stream just for this week. You know the best part? I'm sorry, can I complain about one last thing? Because this is the best part. Obviously, it sucks not being able to work. But ask Sis for help with what? Time? Oh, you mean getting groceries. Right. She lives an hour that way. And she's currently dealing with a husband who is just out of the hospital. Don't worry, it's a normal thing, but she's taking care of him right now. And the kid, so I didn't even get to hang out with her this week. That was actually something I was planning to do. Anyways, complaint point. Just hear me out for a second. So, the work lost time, that sucks. Especially since there's no getting that back. But my favorite part is I also lost playtime. I couldn't do stuff for fun. Because the stuff I do for fun is on the frickin' computer that wasn't working. So I couldn't relax. There was no vacation. That's the best part, really. It's like, take a week off. Okay. Stress. Just, And hang on, there's actually a third best part here. I couldn't be creative either, which I kind of mentally distinguish. There's work, there's creative, and there's play. There's just play, right? So, work time, duh. Playtime, duh. Creative time absolutely mandates the need of the computer. Like, I could at least play the Switch, and that's it. If I didn't have, if I didn't have access to this, but I can't make anything. I can't do animation work. I can't work on music, which I'm actually currently, putting together some thoughts for the FF8 composite project. I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't do any of those three things. I did beat Cat Quest, though. Unfortunately, that took me like 5 hours. Like, that was just stomp. Anyways, alright, so. Enough me whining about the fact that I wish I was dead. Let's get back to this incredibly not depressing game. Now, I've actually already looked at some of the settings here, but before we move forward, let's actually review the game here that we're reviewing. Let's give a negative to gameplay. Now, for the record, obviously this is an issue for me, and to be perfectly blunt, that would apply to regardless. That's how this works. These are subjective reviews, from my opinion, yada yada. To be 100% clear about what would happen here, though, to explain this is actually one of the worst bugs I've ever seen in my life. Because what happens is if you hit exit, and I'm going to have to be very careful not to hit exit there, if you hit the exit button, the entire computer hard locks. As in, pull the power cord level of hard locks. Actually, you just hit the switch nowadays, but you get the point, right? You have to physically interrupt the power to the computer to bring it out of that state. That's how bad that is. For the record, yes, I waited close to like 15 minutes just to see if it would resolve itself. The answer is no. Now, again, that affecting me is a problem. And that would get that negative, even if that only happened to me that one time, because that is astonishingly unacceptable. However, I went looking into it, and it's a semi-common problem. It is something that other people have reported. For different versions of the game, too. I'm playing the GOG version, and most of the people I saw who had the issue had the Steam version. That is amazingly unacceptable. To be perfectly blunt, I should give that more than one negative to gameplay. Now, there is a fix. There is a workaround, which I have already tested on what was technically the previous computer. And that fix is to end task the game whenever I want to shut the game down. So that's what we're going to be doing. However, for the interests of both reviewing and information, end task the game rather than hitting exit whenever you're leaving it. Just to be safe. So, now 50,000 people, slight exaggeration, have told me I need to check the difficulty settings, which I've actually already looked at. I've already looked at these, and because I was changing the options, but I mean, why do you think it's already in 5x4 mode, right? But, so this is, hang on, let me switch, yep. So, these are the difficulty options we've got here. Manage task, and it has to be end tasking, by the way, not close program. That's basically the same as hitting the exit command. It needs to be end tasking. There is a difference for those of you not aware. Anyways, Pathologic 2 follows the events of a catastrophe. Game difficulty is one of the techniques that helps us tell this story. By turning intended difficulty off, you can tweak the balance of the game. However, we do not recommend doing this on the first playthrough. Pathologic 2 is intended to be almost unbearable. So, and we've got Imago, I don't know what that is, Cocoon, don't know what that is, and Larva, don't know what that is. We've also got individual things for how fast you get hungry, how much damage you take from hunger, exhaustion speed, exhaustion damage, whoop. Immunity recovery, thirst speed, stamina drain when running, infection growth, don't know what that is, don't want to. Food value, clothing wear and tear, weapon wear and tear, damage you deal, value of healing items, damage you take, and infection chance. This is actually pretty good difficulty selections. This is neat stuff here. And that's awesome. So, as much as I love, going ahead and giving negatives to this game, and actually, you know what? I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm going to give a second negative. I don't. When did it mute? When did it mute? Must have fat-fingered it at some point. So a second negative for the hardlock issue. That is ridiculously unacceptable. And what I was saying... Hang on, Sinister Wing. What I was saying is that I shouldn't do that, and I need to work on that. Because you wouldn't believe this. I really struggle with negatives I give to games. Especially games that are beloved. And so I try to be fair, and I try to be kind, and I do so too much, and that's my fault, and I need to not do that. Because I legitimately think it's doing the game a disservice to do that. And this is what I was saying before I accidentally muted myself. This is what I was just talking about to Lore Reloaded. Just yesterday, actually, he released a little video, and I thought it wasn't actually all that good. Now, there's some good core ideas there. There's some good, neat stuff. But all I really saw was the fact that there was this issue, and then there was this issue, and then there's this issue, and there's this issue. So I told him about the specific issues, and I gave suggestions on how it could improve. And that's how I think that should be. I shouldn't be too kind, because being too kind is doing a disservice to the creator, my opinion. Being too kind doesn't help anything or improve anything, right? And that's ignoring the possibility of it being patronizing, I think is the word. So, 2 negatives for ridiculously unacceptable crash nature. Moving on. Gameplay positive, difficulty options. I mean, you never are, Mike Romano, so I'm not super worried about it. It is worth noting, I did stress the word too kind, by the way. Being kind is something you absolutely should do. There's a difference between saying, hey, this sucks, and, hey, I think this could use some improvement. There's a world of difference between those two things. Yes, Zach Taft, but you're gonna have to give me a minute. There we go. So, plus to gameplay, good difficulty, legitimately good difficulty. Boop. Anthem is probably the worst crashy game I've ever seen. This one comes in second, but Anthem it was just, what the hell? So I got 3 subs from Ciela. Thank you, Ciela, very, very much. Always appreciate that support. Thank you. Now, I think Ciela decided, yep, Don Crow gets to pick. Now, I didn't see a Don Crow... Salmon Max. Is that already on the list? Hang on. Hang on. Okay, Salmon Max is already on the list. Got it. What do you want the third one to go to, Ciela? So you have to pick one in particular, Zach Taft. You can't just say mods. You need to pick one. So pick one. Hunger. The call of the body is distracting. It forces one to choose between their own life and saving others. If this parameter is low, it weakens one of the main conflicts of the game. The speed at which a hungry character loses health. If you want to rebalance hunger for your playthrough, we suggest tweaking this parameter before hunger speed. If this is lowered below 70%, a hungry character will regenerate HP faster than losing it during sleep. That would allow for one to escape a hunger death loop. However, we do not recommend playing this way. We want you to die! Sorry, it doesn't actually say that last part, but it kind of does. Set the pacing of play, creates intermissions, and provides crucial plot insight. Dreams lie at the very core of Pathologic 2. We do not recommend tweaking this parameter unless absolutely necessary. Daily stress. You got it, Ciela. Thank you. Yeah, so actually, I was going to ask you guys, is this something that can be changed in mid-game play? And there's a reason I'm asking, other than just curiosity. Alright, Awakening the Rebellion. Now let me look that up, Zach, because... Duh. Here we go. Yeah, possibly Walker. The real problem with the streamability gap, so many people don't understand this. I was literally just explaining this yesterday to someone. Awakening of the Rebellion. The streamability gap isn't a hard gap. You know what I mean? It's a range of things that might have issues under the right circumstances, maybe. So in some cases, yeah, no, we absolutely can just play games from the streamability gap. Done! And in some cases, you can't. And in some cases, there's workarounds. And in some cases, those workarounds have issues. It varies. That's the problem. Standardization in game construction is part of the major issue and why the streamability gap exists. Because there wasn't really cohesive architecture in terms of computer design with regards to how they did and rendered three-dimensional objects as well as other aspects of game design at that point in history. More modernly, it's more standardized. Like nowadays, most engines are relatively standardized and most games are relatively standardized to the point that you just hit play and it's good. Older games were also, ironically, kind of similarly standardized because they were DOS games or they were Windows 3.1 games, and that was kind of it, right? And we know how to emulate that stuff now. That's done and done. That's a joke. It's that in-between range. That's the problem. So again, you know, is there stuff I could do to solve that problem? Yes, but not the whole thing. I don't have the ability to just take the streamability gap and get rid of it. It's an aspect of game design history that I may or may not be able to solve on a case-by-case basis. It's one of the reasons it's so damn frustrating. It's because the only real way to tell is to literally just test on the fly. But anyways, let's go ahead and start this damn game. We've been streaming for 37 minutes, recording for 18. Let's hit go. Super looking forward to this. Alright, so it's a first-person game. That's good to know. I mean, PS3 games have their own massive issues. In fact, PS3 games, GameCube games, and Wii games. Well, it's more PS3. So PS3, PS2, and GameCube all have the same general problem. But it's worst for PS2 and GameCube. Those two are absolutely the worst within the streamability gap. Because, like, the problem is getting hold of a physical copy in most cases. Being able to actually buy a PS2 game or a GameCube game is a who-knows situation. Sometimes it's fine. You know, it's just, here's $20. And sometimes it's going for like 70 or 80 or 120, right? Wii and PS3, similar issue, but usually less of an issue, because the PS3 has the online stuff, and the Wii had their greatest hits things, which means there's more copies in production, which means the copies tend to be cheaper. But again, those 4 consoles do tend to have issues simply because buying the game is something that you can't just go and do. And because people are stupid, and I point to Sony and Nintendo on this, they haven't really been jumping on the re-release train or the port train as hard as I would really like. Because god dang it. No, Paper Mario 2 really should only have 1 release ever, despite being one of the best games ever made. Of course it should. What's wrong with you? God. Or, here's one on the Sony side. 3D Dot Heroes, that's what it's called. Which is basically a Zelda-styled game. I'm not going to call it a Zelda clone. That would be being dismissive. A surprisingly good and engaging game. 3D Dot Game Heroes, that's the one. A surprisingly good game. PS3 only. Good luck getting a hold of it outside of PS3. It's like, come on! No, I'd rather just say no, SkyMart, if that's totally cool with you. Hello? Alright, so, can't do anything. Yeah, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, another perfect example of that. There's an ugly face, there's some people, there's nothing going on here. There's a person for some reason. Hello, person. Well, I'm out. Actually, I do need to check something really quick here. There it is. Get rid of motion blur. And get rid of depth of field. Okay, we're good. Oh, much better. Alright. But yeah, no, the other problem, SkyMart, I mean, you're right, that is an option. I could also just drop the money on it. But if I could be 100% blunt, and I don't mean to be unkind about this, but there's already, in the 300 range of games that you guys have already donated for, I have about, I can just pull up the list, I have quite a few games I want to add that I would like to review. Just pull up the list here. At last count, it's 191 games that I would like to review. And then there's the actual queue, which is 62 strong at last count. I don't mean to be unkind, but I'm not particularly worried about saying no about adding a game to a list that's in the 450 range. You know? Excuse me, 550 range. My mouth is wrong. Anyways. Hello, strange person.
A good joke doesn't need a punchline. It needs structure.
It needs audio balance. Which I can't access right now. Wow, that's funny. Okay. So my performance was a flop, unfit for the role, a cursed production. This is our second attempt and second failure. Are you going to try again? Why not? But you won't be here. You've done nothing to improve yourself. But, okay. It's not for you to judge. It's not our fault you put us into these inhuman conditions. Okay, hang on. Audio balance. Let's see here. What's funny is I already messed with this, as you can probably tell here, but let's turn the effects down a little bit. Turn the voice up. Turn that down a little bit. Turn that down a little bit more. Turn down my own audio a little bit. There we go. Okay. Really cautious down to the exit thing. Can't loot the stuff. That's okay. Didn't need that loot anyways. Left control. Okay, so rebinding. What do we got here? Perfect. So left control is that. We'll switch it to there. We'll make them flash like this is a rave. Go talk to this person.
I'm no positivist. There are things in this world beyond our mundane perception.
What do those two sentences have to do with each other? Where are the birds? Up. Where else? Unless you mean the real ones. Yeah, real birds. Where's the birds, dude? Ah, whatever. I think they saw Oblivion, Colgrim, and were like, yes! Every conversation. Hang on. Every conversation should be had at this level. Hello, guys. How are all the things going? And then we go back to normal dialogue. I missed a dialogue on the first floor. Do not agree with that sentence. I'm gonna go talk to this thing. Hey, what's up? Want to receive your payment? Well, everyone will get paid what they're due in the cathedral. That's where the final choice will be made. By whom? By the authorities. Okay, that's cool. Alright, well, time to leave. Dude, I would totally play a Birdemic game. I'm not even joking about that. That movie is hilarabad. You think it'll be better than StarCraft 2? I do not agree with that, Zactef. But then again, you know, I do think StarCraft 2 is one of the best strategy games ever made, so... Oh, there is a person right there. Hey, what's up?
Rough as Dutch, safe to touch.
Turns out...
Smooth as bone, leave it alone.
Ahem. Turns out the birds aren't birds at all. Want to know what they are? Lean down and I'll tell you. They're fingers! Did they tell you that? Yeah, this is a direct quote. We're not birds, we're fingers. That's why people call them executors. Are you tired? Want me to relieve your headache? No. You can't do that, so... No, piss off, as they say. Alright, time to leave town forever. I'm supposed to open the map. Okay, so we're in hell. Got it. We're actually in the maw. I was joking. Alright. Where the hell are we? Okay. I like how I'm hated everywhere, by the way. That's a nice touch. No, Sinister Wing. not possible. I mean, I could just quit and not stream, if that's your preference, but, yeah, I need to keep myself going right now, otherwise I'm just going to shut off the camera. Sounds like... so I'm hated everywhere. That's great. That's cool. I'm cool with that. Yeah, you know what? Hang on, just a second. There we go. Oh, that looks awful. Oh my god. Okay, that's terrible. Hang on, let's turn it down a little bit. It's a little better. There we go, I can at least see what I'm looking at now. It's a gray blob instead of black. Okay, so, welcome to hell. I feel like I already said that. Jumping consumes stamina at a prodigious rate. Yeah, we're already out of stamina. Check that out. Cool. People have gas masks like you do. Move along, Doctor. Excuse me, I think it's Mr. So, who are these people you're butchering, Mr. Evil Person? They're looters! Okay, well, that sucks. That's wonderful. Are you alive? Bonus points. Does it matter? Okay, this can't all be blood. There's no way. Well, he's got 3 heads, Mike Kamano, so, you know. Relevant. Oh, uniform paint. That makes so much sense. Yeah, I might turn the music up a little bit. It was blaringly loud earlier, which is why I turned it down so much. Turn it up a bit. There we go. Trash cans, trash cans, trash cans. Didn't see any trash cans. Oh god, strafing is slow. There's one. Oh hey, I have loot. So what do we got here? I've got a tourniquet. Chalk. Boosts immunity. Boosts immunity. Boosts immunity. Water bottle. Water from the river is undrinkable. Well, yeah. Morphine. Interesting. But now we have broken scissors, which are, you know, useless. And a broken ampoule. Ampoule. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. Well, if it makes you feel any better, Dr. Winter, I'm unfamiliar with this game, too. So, you know, that's helpful. Pika, I'm curious. Why do you keep asking about that? I'm just curious.
Ha.
Ha. Yeah, sure. Heed my advice. You think she loves you? I think she's a friend and he's a foe because he brought the cannons. Don't talk to her first. Talk to him. What is wrong with your eyes? You know nothing. She is my ally. It's magic, Gum Gum. Don't think about it too much. It's okay, Pika. It's not really a huge issue. I'm just curious because you keep asking about that. But I am also very irritable today for reasons that I should have to explain, so I do apologize. The answer to your question is yes, I did see it, and yes, I do plan to talk about it during the upcoming lore week. Oh, haha is alert. Possible Sinister Wing? I guess we'll find out in a second. Next time we have a dialogue. What kind of game is this? Well, I suspect it's a horror game. I don't know where I get that vibe. It's something... It's a vague impression. That button. I have thoughts! Dismissal. I don't know what that means, but okay. I have minimal immunity. I am very exhausted and very hungry, but it's okay. I have lots of stamina and health. I don't know people or things. I know nothing. Nice place. Nice place. Okay, that looks like a graphics glitch, honestly. Right there. You see that? Yeah, okay, well, we'll walk towards the totally not graphics glitch. Well, so far I'm getting a very World War I vibe. Nope. And, I don't actually know what else to say about that, to be completely honest. More totally not graphic glitching. Yeah, welcome to Aristorika. By the way, I'd like to mention something. This is technically always true. I don't have feet. I'm Gordon Freeman. I don't have a lower body. I should mention something. I always have the right to cancel a run. I very rarely pull that trigger. It's really rare. It's happened like 4 times with regards to the locusts that are currently swarming over the area, or those mice, in which case that's actually worse. But I just wanted to mention that, because there was actually another game. It wasn't a review. There was another game that we ended up putting down because I couldn't deal with it. Does anyone remember what that game was? It was Sean! was giving an anniversary thing. But hi, PC troubles are not over, but thank you for asking. Thank you, Kiera White Noise, for that sub, which I assume you want to put towards Command & Conquer 3, not C plus C3. It is a presumption on my part, I will admit. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was a garbage game of garbage, which is not the game I'm referring to. Also, that was a run. That was actually a review. So it does not qualify for what I'm talking about. Yeah, no. Zalok is quite correct. Papers, please. We tried to stream Papers, Please. We failed at it. I failed at it. I lacked the ability to keep streaming that game. Little bit too much for me. Oh, come on. I could totally fit through these. These don't even... Come on! You are quite incorrect, I'm afraid, Pika. We actually beat Disco Elysium. Also, Disco Elysium was actually a review. What are the other two? There's only one way to answer that question. Hit the stream brakes! Give me a second, I'll look it up. I keep a list of this stuff. It's actually a publicly available list. There's a command to open it up. I have no idea what it is. It's something. Alright, here we go. So, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we bailed on. Battlefield Gothic Armada 2, and Frozen Synapse. 3 games that are runs we have abandoned. And just those 3. Frozen Synapse because it was boring. Battlefield Gothic Armada 2 because it was boring. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey because screw that game. And we kind of ran into a boring wall. Huh. All 3 of those were actually for boring reasons, now that I think about it. Anyways, point being, what did I abandon the Ocarina of Time run? So, that was just kind of a judgment call, which didn't really qualify under the normal circumstances. Long story short, I wouldn't have done that now. If I had done the Ocarina run now, I would just play through the game a second time. But at the time, I was mostly thinking of lore runs as a separate thing from review runs, which we're past that mentality now. So, we put it on hold and walked away from it. And someday we'll finish it. I have never... Well, I've only fallen asleep playing a game twice. Once was World of Warcraft, which was not because it was boring, it was because I was working 100-hour work weeks. Yes, really. You think I work a lot now? I actually severely and probably permanently damaged my health that particular chunk of time. Yeah, Blue Wolf Alex is the right of it there. And the other time was, and I've told this story many times before, during Final Fantasy XII, which is also not because it was boring. It was because I was fighting an incredibly boring boss fight, and I literally fell asleep in the middle of the boss fight. And I do believe those are the only 2 times I've fallen asleep while playing a game. So, but yes, Ocarina and Majora's are in the queue. They're in the medium block, I believe, so we'll get there after we're through the long block. Yes, it was Yzmat, that is correct, Roger Brock. Hey, Pinball Witcher, thank you very much for that sub. I do always appreciate, and I will absolutely put that towards, whatever you put it towards. Outer Wilds, that's it, Outer Wilds. Whatever stream Beholder. I've never even heard of Beholder, so I don't know, would be my immediate and automatic answer. Is there a comfy game you want to fall asleep to? I guess Stardew Valley would qualify for that. It would also be nice to have a couple other, you know, chill games on Switch, specifically. Because Switch is perfect for falling asleep. Is Master Quest needed for Ocarina of Time? Yeah, that's the whole point. Did I ever play the Wizardry games? Probably. There's so many mice. I have no idea, Zactaf, but Empire at War is streamable, so I'm assuming the mod is. If it's not, then well, we have done something very, very wrong. There's another question. What was that? That someone asked. Oh yeah, how long do I give a game before I decide it's boring? I have to give a game exactly 432 seconds. Otherwise, it's all over. I'm sorry, I'm being facetious. The point is that no, I don't have a set time period during which I will say, Kung, that is how long a game gives. And thank you, Michael, for the sub. And thank you, S.A. Ross, for the sub. I don't know what Michael wants to put his towards, but I do know that I am stupid and dumb and worthless. Gunslinger. I've never thought about that one, but I'll take it. I will admit without hyperbole that Arthur's beard style from Red Dead Redemption 2 was part of the motivation. Unfortunately, I do not have the hair growth that he has. I have to kind of live with what I have. However, as of Wednesday, actually, I do believe, dungeons, all the dungeons are different, Pika. All of them. Zelda LTTP for Michael, and then Mike, the other Mike, different Mike, has put something towards FF13. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, Sinister. You kind of got it, Sinister Wing. I admit I'm also taking in the area. I'm talking a lot here, but I am paying attention, believe it or not. There's little details, like, for example, you might not have even noticed, but if you stand in one place for a particular period of time, the amount of particles in the air actually increases. And you can really notice, I know it's probably kind of hard to see on stream, but if you look at the building to my left here, you can see how the density of those particles is very slowly increasing, whereas once you start actually moving around, it resets to default value, and now you can see it's back to a normal density. I'm not sure if that's on purpose, but it's an interesting effect. We've got the pouring rain, of course, the not quite music. The fog is being used very Silent Hill 2-y, which is good, because otherwise this level of fog would really bother me. There's the mice. What I'm trying to say is that there's some good atmospheric design here. You'll also notice the mice, which I swore were locusts at first. I'm still not 100% sure those are mice. Are regional. Like you can almost see the terrain that has been painted to have the hopping things. The vermin, let's call them what they are, because whether they are mice or whether they are insects, those are vermin. So, and if you look over here, you can actually see the edge, at which point they will no longer spawn, and where there aren't any, and blah, blah, blah. Action games with gameplay I consider really positive and not just adequate. Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, Shovel Knight, and Ghost of Tsushima, right off the bat. There's 4. Bam. All of those have excellent gameplay. I feel like there's also a bit of density to the whatever these are. Like in some places there's a whole bunch of them, and then in some places there's just like a couple, like over here, see? Also, not terrible brickwork. Yeah, exactly, Mike D'Amato. Like, the brickwork is weird in how it's simultaneously good and bad. I'm not sure if it'll get a positive in the end, but the detail on it is not great, is the bad. If you get up close, you can really see how low res this is and how, PS2 this is. But the actual style and design is actually pretty good. Very low repetition value, decent variety, the leaves themselves add to it, etc., etc. Again, looking back at the wall, we've got the chunks of what I can only presume is fungus. And nice little painting of different style of bricks. Mm. You know, little stuff like that. Just showing off the brickwork here. So I suppose in the interest of fairness, I should go ahead and jot down both of those things that I'm already thinking about, as I have been pointing out. Yeah, I guess I could see PS3. That's a fair point. So, sorry. PS3 instead of PS2, my bad. PS2 to me, whenever I think of PS2, is just blur. And so that's kind of what I was thinking. Here we go. So we've got atmosphere. I'm just going to... Let's see. So we've got... brickwork. We'll jot those down. I'm going to put those both in the hypothetical. I'm going to hit the wrong button. That's very important to this process. And then I'm going to go see a donation from von Falkenstein. He thought I forgot. But unfortunately for him, he didn't realize that I am me. Which I don't actually... I'm not actually really surprised by that. I assume that is also for Awakening of the Rebellion, since I don't know acronyms off the top of my head von Falkenstein, but I do want to be clear. Okay, just making sure. God, it's such a long title. Von Falkenstein was actually presuming that I'm secretly every other streamer in the universe. I shouldn't say that. I've actually noticed a lot of streamers who get donations. I don't know how to say this without sounding unkind. I should probably shut up. Thank you, von Falkenstein, very, very much. Always appreciate. And I have put that towards Awakening of the Rebellion. That's true. He was probably trying to donate to Lore Reloaded. It makes perfect sense. Lore Reloaded is better than me in every single way, shape, and form. You know, more attractive, better facial hair, better show, way more comments on YouTube, better pendulum. I mean, it's just obvious. Better maps, better map design.
This is, after all, artillery. Fire from the heavens.
Better neck popping. That wasn't even loud. Better chat, obviously. Is this the doctor? Alright, you're gonna level the town, aren't you, General? You're supposed to discuss this matter with a civilian? I'm no civilian! I'm the doctor. State your name and occupation. Artemy Barak, surgeon. Give me a reason to call off the bombardment. You have one chance. I can make the serum. We'll have enough time to produce it at scale, but the recipe has been developed. No. If you told me you had 3 tank cars of that panacea and an army of doctors from the capital ready to administer it, would have convinced me. As it stands, there's no going back. It is too great a risk. As it stands, we must kill everyone. We must kill everything and create a monument to non-existence. Okay, well, that sucks. Dr. Winter, of course, wants me to run Tor Agent, also known as the best of the class stories. So that's cool. Very cool. Give me just a moment here. Dr. Winter, 169. Tor Agent. Thank you, Dr. Winter, for the bits.
Don't even bother opening your mouth. I know what you're thinking.
Sorry. How many people get that? Why have you come? You now decide the town's fate. Is this how people talk? Am I that out of touch? Am I that un-language? I know. Thank you, Bregman. Am I no longer capable of communicating with human beings? Good lord. Thank you, Ben Smack. I do always appreciate your support. Thank you. I don't suppose you know where you want to put that? Anyways, decide the town's fate. We already decided everything without you. You've come uninvited. Yeah, apparently, S.A. Ross, so it was Saturday, like, I was playing Heroes of Might and Magic 5 Saturday, and I thought I had a grasp on the English language, and I have been proven wrong. We have entered just the new dimension here, and that's where we are. We're secretly in hell. I guess it's not actually that big of a secret. Chrono Cross. You got it. I mean, there's nothing else that could be Chrono-wise. Chrono Trigger is already funded. But thank you again, Ben Smack. What did you decide? Who are you to demand reports from us? A boxwoodsman, a self-taught doctor, practicing barbaric traditional medicine. Medicine. Oh, but I know who you are. You're the person I was very wrong to put my hopes in. The person who let me down. Out! No! I only need one more day. You get over here, seize this man, and throw him out. Listen to me, please. No. There's a dude over there. Listen, look, there's a guy. I think he's the master. If we're the doctor, that would make a lot of sense. What's up, dude? Hang on. See, I can't get close enough to talk to him. I need to get right up in his face. Ah, it won't let me get any closer.
The show must go off.
You insist on a second attempt. Stubborn. Not a second, a first one. Alright, let's roll then. Let's imagine the last train has not yet left the station. Just don't be late. Dr. Bots, roll out. Literally. Cool. Hey, I got a disturbing letter from my father. Sweet! Dude, I love disturbing letters from my father. Let's see, what's this one say? Hang on. He wants to kiss her little duckies? Anyways. Can I help you? How did you get inside the coffin? You mean the train? A coffin is the best means of transportation of the world. It can get you to unimaginable places. Yeah, okay. Yep, mail yourself. That is a thing, which I would not recommend doing, by the way. We here at the Lore Walkers do not endorse mailing yourself. Wait, is this actually set around earthly 1900s? Because that's funny. I was just saying the Great War in terms of vibe and feel. I didn't know it was actually set in that era. I keep reaching for F5. It's such a habit for a game like this. So, apparently this is actually set in the Midwest, here in the United States. Who knew? Hey, Narset. Thank you. As always. It's been an incredibly stressful week, but thank you. I will put that towards Dungeon Siege 2. Does anybody get the reference, the Midwest joke? I'm just wondering if anybody's ever even heard that. Now the game's too quiet. Is that just me? No, game's just quiet. Okay. So, sup? You guys, come here often? My immunity's going down. Uh-oh. Time to kill people. So for those of you who don't actually get the reference, I am referencing Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan is one of those folk tales. It's one of the only American folk tales. Because, you know, we're not that old of a country. And the whole point is he had a big blue ox. And, I don't know, that's just the first thing I thought of when I see this guy. I like how it's not actually pausing the game when I do that, by the way. That's a bad sign. A lot of bird people here. Excuse me. Railroads are beautiful. They always lead you to one place you can't turn from, except when there's a silly mistake like this crash. Dying just to escape fate. Stupid. Boring. I'm sorry, what is that monster? Ahead or behind? The one behind. That is Boss Turok. I have no idea how to pronounce that. A creature of steppe legends from which the world was created. What was he trying to achieve here? Stupid. Life can never prevent death. Alright, then what's ahead? What's with the fire? As you can see, the blood no longer flows in this artery. There's a clot. You're a doctor, don't you? Do you have any medicine with you? What for? Actually, we know you're the doctor, not us. Go and see. We're only ensuring no other trains are derailed. We'll fix yours too once the beast leaves its track. Okay. This is a good time to mention that I actually don't like surreal stuff in general. So I'm going to try really hard not to make fun of this too badly. But generally speaking, if you throw something surreal at me, my brain turns off. It's just like, okay. And that's pretty much my reaction to it. FYI. Now, Majdi. Thank you. For 1 full year of support. You are awesome. Much appreciate. Welcome to the Year Club. If you happen to know where you want to put that yearversary towards, please let me know. Define surreal? Okay, so, we're on a train, Dr. Winter, after having been in the middle of a city where we're trying to fix a plague. And during the train sequence, the train stops because there's a giant bull on the road and bird people are trying to fix the train. That sounds surreal to me. Dealer's choice. You got it. Thank you again. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm a weirdo here. It is also possible this is just pure fantasy and I am now infected and dead. So that's cool. I could also just Google it. Hang on, let's go ahead and pull up Google here really quick. Hey, we're back on the train. That's cool. That's cool. Give me 1 second. Not that that pauses the game. I don't know why I'm hitting escape. Surreal. Having qualities of surrealism. That's not useful. Do you got anything more useful than that? Surrealism was a cultural movement developed in Europe and the aftermath of the Great War. I could think of things surreal before that, but no, that's cool. That's cool. Here we go. This might actually help. It's the exact same, von Falkenstein. You're seriously? Here we go. Juxtaposition of distant realities to activate the unconscious mind through imagery. Unnerving, illogical scenes, strange creatures made from everyday objects, painting techniques that allows the unconscious to express itself, resolving the previously contradictory conditions of dream and reality into an absolute reality or super reality, aka surreality. Hence the term. I don't know how else to describe surreal. I have failed you. And yes, I get more from direct donations. I could go down the whole list if you care, but... Want to share your secrets? Yeah, sure. You want to go into the coffin? Okay. I have no worries. I'm game. What are the stakes? I don't believe in fate. And there's no dice. How can we play? Ah! Okay. Hello? Hello. Okay. I do appreciate wanting to be skinnier, but I think you took it a little too far. You need to put a little bit of weight on there. You know, it's healthy, all right? I know we have this whole fixation with being super skilly, but, yeah. Just point it out. Hey, a soap. Why is my inventory reset? Where'd my inventory go? I'm coming home. All I need to do is avoid distraction. There's darkness ahead. I follow the roads into a black cloud. This place is wrong. It's not my home. Who is in the black room? Okay. Well, let's open some stuff here. This is an interesting inventory mechanic. I'll take all your money because I'm a robber, apparently. The ferryman requires payment before he'll let me ride on the boat. Listen, Charon's cool, okay? Are you deaf? No, I'm a doctor. What's wrong with you? Water. I need a drink of water. Where do I get it? In the yard. Okay, okay. Keep silent. I'll go get you water. I got you. It's cool. It's cool. Do I have anything to do water with? No, I do. Wait. No, I do. I do. I have empty bottles. Excuse me. Wrong room. Sorry. My bad. Let's see. Water. Okay. I am unfortunately aware. There we go. Turned around a little bit. Nope. Do you... Well, they died in a hurry. Jeez Louise. Hey. Oh, there she is. Excuse me. I'm trying to heal this woman. Bad dream? Sure. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. I dreamt I got some water for a person. You're a restless man. I just wondered what's inside you. Blood, guts, organs. A little bit of egg right now. Because that was my breakfast. Now we're playing Nier Automata. Right. Aw. Aw. Hey, it's the lady from the title screen. And there she is again. She's got a lot of twins. Oh, there's the railroad. Hey, railroad. Inventory's reset again. It's good to know. But Mother Bod, oh, carry your steps, Kobloon. You haven't forgotten your people, have you? I wasn't raised on the steppe. Do you have a good heart? Who judges that? We hear earth with our hearts. The heart has a pulse, so does earth. If they sing in harmony, you hear the language of earth and herbs. Or herbs, if you prefer. The language of warmth and cold. Look, Tanger, and listen. Whose words are all around? What does earth say? This is just my inner voice. A lot of time has passed. You were gone. You forgot many things. Your heart is spoiled. Katanger. Let's see if it is rotten. I haven't forgotten anything, though. The fight will show whose heart is keen, who hears the unheard words. You will see my heart. The kin's blood runs through me. I was never torn from my people. You aren't people, but beasts! I am not one of you! Fucha! Die, monster! You don't belong in this world! It's not by my hand that I am once again given flesh! I was made this way to pay tribute to people's souls. Hang on, I gotta catch my breath. Whew, this is I'm not in good shape, apparently. What is a man? Hello? No! I can't do anything. Oh, there we go. I can attack again. My stamina's coming back. Hey, Blue Rollers, I have stamina again. Oh, it's gone. Wait, it's back! And it's gone. Woo, that is weird to control. I always lose the game. Hey! That's helpful. Gotta catch my breath here. Alright, time to die. Spill his blood. Die, monster. I already said these lines, but I mean them even more now. Death. Ugh. See, I'm a doctor, so... There are many ways to help... We'll go with the Mass Effect quote. There's many ways to help people. Oh, he surrendered. Fine, I won't kill you. Let us trade hearts. Let us become kin! No? A river of good washes away a drop of rot. There's no me or you. There's a people. Mix your flesh with ours. No! No! Okay, fine. Hang on. Rip this sucker out. Ugh! Okay. Here you go. I'm gonna need a heart back in a minute. Oh god, I'm stuck. I can fix this. I'm dexterous. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Fine. Snip, snip. Why is my heart rotten? Vermiculous, actually. Yeah, this is how you trade in this game. Apparently. There we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. Forgot I grabbed this. What is with this stupid train? If there's one thing I could say about this train... It's that it's worthless. No, Hey, dude. No? Oh, shit. Hi. We're almost there. You relieved? Oh, yes. I can't wait to get there. Just can't wait. To add something to my grocery list, I just remembered. Hang on a second. Look, shut up. I write things down when I remember them because otherwise I forget them. I keep track of a lot of things in my life. What do you want from me? There we go. Are we riding in circles? It was a nice way of passing the time. Good luck with your father. Yeah, thanks. That's cool. You, Well, I ripped my heart out. Hey, I have an interface. Life is in the water. Water! For the first time in many years, I'm home.
My dear son, Artemy, I write to...
I turned the dialogue up. I did.
you after so many years apart, in the hopes that you may find a way to return to us. Something worries me. I fear a difficult trial approaches. I hope that your studies have proven fruitful, and that you have achieved great skill as a surgeon. Such skill might be of use here. I remain the only physician in this town, but know that I am growing old. I need an assistant.
Alright, Dad. I got your back. Apparently there is a save function in this game. Holy crap. Yeah, I have no idea how long this game is supposed to be, actually. I probably looked it up at one point, but it's not in the long block because it's long. It's in the long block because someone requested it be shoved forward in time. All I have to say to that sinister wing is dong dong. Hello, Undead Elvis. Welcome to Train. This actually has been a train simulator game this entire time. We're not playing the dude, we're playing the train. That gives me a game idea, actually. Yeah, exactly. That's why we don't have feet, because we have wheels. Beginning of the first day. Kong Kong. Sorry. Okay. Oh, good. No one cares about me. Whew. Thank goodness. Could you imagine? Interesting. Well, we got a donation from Canis there.
The worst is yet to come.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Canis, for the sub. Always appreciate those supports. If you know where you want that to go, please let me know. Otherwise, well, I don't know what to add to that. I'm sorry, that wasn't from Canis, it was from Doralis. My bad. I'm really out of it today. Thank you very much, Doralis, for the sub. Sorry for screwing that up. My chat's actually being formatted weird. I think it's because of the boost the stream thing. Because I was doing that earlier, too. Diablo 2. You got it. A non-surreal game. So anyways. A hunchback. Kid, I'm bent over in pain here. You need to handle the bleeding, old man. You're covered in blood. Your own blood. I don't need you to lecture me, boy. You're sure good at cutting people. All the reflexes. A slicer dicer. Yeah, I'm from BioShock. Man, you really have some anger problems, don't you? Zing, pow, blam, 3 guys dead. This isn't the right way. This isn't how we do things around here. No, apparently you do things by having a dog outfit. You gotta be nicer. Just hit him 3 times max. Send him running. You don't have to kill anyone that bothers you. Debate, debate, debate.
When the cat's away, the mice will play.
But what happens when the mice are away? The one with the knife was Keurig, a leather worker. Not gonna cry for him, he was nuts. Was this an ambush? They weren't waiting for you. I think you were an accident. So who was their real target? Rumors going around that someone else got murdered tonight. Good boy. Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy? It's not you! Stab! Alright. Why would I want to touch items? I also don't know how to do that. Hello, Bamber Boozler. Fingers crossed, but, you know, not looking good so far. But, thank you. As always. Now we'll put that towards, Last Guardian. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Hey, I can contribute. What do we got here? Aw, I can't contribute. There's literally a button saying, would you like to contribute points to the boost? I'm like, yeah, sure. And it's like, well, you can't. And that's literally what happened. It even gave me the tutorial for how to do it, and then said, oh, you can't. Oh, thank you, Ranzada. Very much appreciate. I used to know how to say thank you in a bunch of different languages. I don't remember anymore. I'm dumb. Diablo 2, you got it. I don't actually know what the boost does. I guess we can just hit the learn more button. Yeah, what do we got here? What do we got? Learn more about boosting. Beginning in December, we're doing a new thing called boosting the stream. If you're a viewer, be on the lookout. Use channel points to boost it. Yada, yada, yada. So, creator fact. Boost the stream as a new... When a challenge is successful, we will promote your stream into the highly visible parts of Twitch, such as live channels we think you'll like. Promoting your stream helps improve visibility and yada 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 internal boosting, which is already a thing that both Twitch and YouTube do. Do I have to do anything? No. Stand back and let the peasants do... That's not what it says. I've got peasants on the mind, because HOM 5. What do you want from me? You can apparently turn it off. Oh, I know, I'm being boosted. Dude, I'm getting spammed in chat. I am absolutely getting boosted. How many points will it take? It varies per channel. It's interesting, because it looks like mine's going to take 240,000 lore credits to boost. It actually tells me right there. Peasants and Infernos. Hell yeah. Okay, here we go. This is actually something I was curious about. If you boost with channel points and the channel is not completed, the points will get refunded. So that's cool. That's actually one of the first things I wanted to check there. Blah, 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 blah. Boosting directly helps your creator. By completing a boost challenge, you give your creator the chance to grow. This is actually a cool idea now that I'm thinking about it. It's kind of the same thing that I do with how you can put points towards a run. In the idea that it's for people who don't have money to support the run. So it's a way to support the run simply by watching, right? Because Lord knows I don't get jack from ad revenue. Speaking of which, thank you very, very much, Sean. Ever and always. Thank you. And if we pull this up here, boosting will not be available to mobile users. Thanks, Twitch. Thanks. I don't. Okay, hang on. Because someone just donated for Mass Effect. In fact, 2 people just donated for Mass Effect 2. So I gotta look up. what those are at in order to judge. CFX. So that's going to be at 216. So you want 4 to go towards Mass Effect 1. And then the other one was Shantae, which you would want 8 to go towards. Which means you have $4 left. Wait, that's half Genie Hero. My bad. Wait a second. Yeah, that's what I thought. We already did Pirate's Curse, Sean. I assume you mean half Genie Hero, and that's just a mistype. We've also... Is 7 Sirens on the list? It just occurred to me. Hang on. I love the idea that the timer's ticking down while I'm doing this. Doesn't look like it is. Yeah, we don't have 7 Sirens on the list. That's weird. Yeah, I figured you meant half Genie Hero. You still got $4 left, Sean. FYI. What is a Friday? Okay, it does... I kind of was worried, Sinister Wing, since the animations were still playing and everything. Because, you know... I did not see that, Zalog. I'm not going to touch that with a 7,000-foot pole. So I'm going to pretend you didn't see anything. Ever. There. Okay. So back to Factory Land. I don't know what the goal of the game is, or what I'm trying to do, or anything whatsoever. Still haven't actually figured out how the game is, or what the game is, or anything. You're nearly dead, got a few minutes left. I'm here to announce your demise. Are you with that crowd? Of course not. They were just peaceful townsfolk, craftsmen, factory workers, good sons and fathers. But me, I'm much more dangerous. I'm the mask of fate. Sorry, Darth Trenius. I've been meaning to tell you guys that you're blind, but I figured you would know yourself, you know? Bug Fables and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Peaceful, yeah, right. Why'd they try to kill me? My esteemed colleagues would explain. So what are you telling me? You've been bashed on the head several times, and the locals' fists are heavy, and one of the 4 stab wounds looks deep. Significant blood loss, too, and the local climate is unforgiving in terms of strain. Do you have any heart conditions? My heart is too soft. Your health is a mess. I'm guessing you haven't eaten in several days, and that you didn't sleep last night, did you? That's what I thought. So your hunger and exhaustion are critical. I wonder which of these afflictions will be the death of you first. What's your plan? Dressing your wounds would be a good idea. Where do I get bandages? A drugstore. You've been studying surgery for 6 years and you're just now finding this out? That's not about the wounds. Even when they're dressed, you still need to be aware of your body. It's not always on your side. Pay attention to its needs. But I hate my body. As with most people. Next you die anyway, because the whole town will soon have it out for you. That's nothing you can do with... It's got nothing to do with the 3 poor souls you just killed. Great, why do they hate me? My colleague over there can explain better. That's his role. Mine is teaching you how your body works. You don't have to die before you make it home. Right. Well, tell me how this works. Welcome home. You've been away a while. Did you know that you don't even remember the heady scent of Tweeter in the air? Do you know why you got it clacked? No. The whole town is looking for a moiterer. A very important and respected man was killed last night. The townsfolk loved him better than some children love their fathers. Don't be too hard on them. So why does that have anything to do with me? You've just got that sort of look. Suspicious, unfamiliar, menacing. I'm not evil. God dang it. My face is perfectly gross and ordinary. Thank you. Whatever, that bit's not important. Time is short. Oh, by the way, time is important. Be careful how you spend it. Be aware that you don't have much time left. I know. A few more minutes. Your colleague already told me. A little more. I intend to live to 80? That's it? Oh my god. You've got less than 2 weeks. 12 or so days. Trust me, I'm a specialist. So use your time well and hurry home now. Why are you wasting your time here? Your father's waiting. I don't like you, B-kid. Alright, random dude. What is wrong with your face? Be careful, he must not hear your voice. Lean close, he only speaks in lies and wants you dead. Does everyone want me dead? Do not go home. Stay clear of home. In town you have friends yet, do you not? So father's unhappy? Unhappy? Far from it. Far as can be. But still, do not go home, I beg of you. Heed my words. Avert your doom. But averting doom isn't my style. The town is yours. May you soon find how deep, how far its roots run down your spine. Ew. May you inhabit the bits from Shadow Machine. Let them sink into your pores. Learn vein and artery, nerve and blood cell of the bits. You need no home beyond the town itself. Forget the place you so eagerly seek. I beg forgiveness. Grievous harm will come to me should I tell you more than I can. Wow. Shadow Machine, I think this is the best birthday present I could ever give you. A headache. No, thank you, Shadow Machine. Oh my gosh, thank you very, very, very much. But before I say proper thank you, happy birthday. I do hope you're doing something more interesting and fun than watching me play this game today. Please tell me you're at least getting, like, some cheesecake or a pastry or something, right? Like, you're getting something, right? God dang it, you need to get something. I don't care if it's in a piece of asparagus. If you don't, well, I should probably actually... That sounds weird. Can you hear that? I mean, it's plastic. Thank you, Shadow Machine. Always appreciate, always obliged. Thank you. Dude, I love asparagus. You kidding me? That was the Inquisition, right? Yes, it was. There we go. Okay, so I have limited time. I have limited health, and I'm dying horribly. Good to know. Okay. That's terrible. Whoops. What? Okay. I am... What? Right. I think it's a survival game. I'm not actually sure about Trinius, but considering the fact that I have stats such as hunger and disease and water, I'm guessing it's horror? I'm not sure where the horror thing comes in. It's definitely surreal. If you ask me to describe it right now, I'd say it's a survival surreal game. It's supposed to make you suffer, which doesn't sound like a good thing to me, but whatever, you know. As previously described, just because I don't understand something doesn't make it a thing. I mean, Would you believe that some people actually listen to Nickelback? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I should use a non-joking example to make my actual point. Would you believe that some people actually like black licorice? That which is just insanity to my mind, but, you know, it's a thing. That's why it's a lorium. Hold up. I just realized this music is unacceptable. We need real music. No, people... I mean, at least... So, no, Savacom, because, of course, people like coffee. It helps them stay awake. Why is this not working? Okay, so that's bad. Okay, there it goes. I'm sorry, anytime the computer kind of wigs out a little bit, I'm just like... Just try not to panic. I've already had too many panic attacks this week. Alright. So, obviously, the time has come to play appropriate music. Now, I thought about playing something joking, but no, I'm going to play something real that I think fits this game. Give me just 1 second. I just got to find the song, because there's a specific song. It's this one. No to both questions, French philosopher. We ran into a bagrillion problems with shipping them out, so we stopped doing it. This is Zelda music. Very good. You already said that, Sinister Wing, but thank you. Well, if she likes black licorice gum gum, I got nothing. Back in the maw. Back in the spleen. Why would you call a part of a town a spleen? I was gonna say, anytime I would not want to be alive in Russia in this era. I'm just saying, no thank you. We've got kidney stones. What trial? Okay, so he's a jerk. Yeah, we're just gonna start avoiding people, I think. What are you? Fortunately, unlike you, I'm not actually starving. Nice stitches, by the way. You should look for freaks that trade in trash. Maybe home-owning freaks too foolish to see you rummaging through their things. Yeah, right. Death by starvation. Woohoo! I do enjoy death by starvation. It's one of my favorite ways to die. I mean, I've only died a few times, but, you know. Interesting. Yeah, you go into a coma days before you actually die from starvation. Not that I know anything about that. It's worse when you are dehydrating down. It's okay, though. You go into a state of such frantic... I guess I'd call it insanity? Because your brain kind of stops working properly. when you are actually starving and actually dehydrating to death. It's not very fun. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Oh, come on! I can't go over that? I don't know, whatever. Sure. 9 out of 10 doctors do not recommend starvation. They recommend demon killing. Remember, if your doctor does not recommend demon killing, they are a demon and you should kill them. Yeah, you ever chew on a branch to try and get something? For a while there, my friends made fun of me because I knew what it was like to eat paper on a regular basis. Sorry, I shouldn't be talking about real things. It's just... The game starts talking about starvation. I know what medical starvation feels like. I have been there more than once in my life. It's actually one of the reasons why I get wigged out about food to this very day. I've talked about this before. It's why I keep dessert on hand at all times. And you're probably thinking, what? That has nothing to do with anything. So, I love no one cares about you. It's just like real life. Dessert's pure luxury food, right? Like, it has nothing to do with food you need. It's not... It's not nutrition. And thus, it is the ultimate sign that you are not starving. I know that sounds like such a weird way, but that's how it works in my brain. It is such... It's the perfect way to demonstrably show that I am not starving, is if I have some kind of sweets or dessert or something. And so that's one of the reasons why having access to that has been a matter of mental health for me for the last 15 years at this point. The hell is that guy's problem? Oh well. Sorry, that's a good one, Shadow Machine. What is wrong with you? My god. Buy your bowl? How much do you want for it? It's good as free, 300. Is it stolen? You offend me. It's not stolen, it's just that money is needed more than bowl. Why? Prices will rise 2 times tomorrow, 4 times the day after that, and Suok knows what'll happen the 2 days after tomorrow. I need to stock up today. Okay. How would you know that? Don't laugh, but my bull told me. That's funny. It's not just... I clicked that one on accident. It's not just any bull. It brings luck. When the time comes, it'll tell you what to do. Can I talk, then? It is known it will talk on the scariest day of your life, showing you the right way. I'd rather not have it at all. Perhaps there won't be a scary day in my life, then. That's funny logic. Like, you believe your own tall tale. The scary day will come whether you have the bull or not. It's not his life, it's yours. I'll take him for 200. It's a good bull. Vikara. I don't even have a place to keep it. Pay me now and I'll bring it to your place later. Yeah. Sell it to Big Vlad. I have no idea who that guy is. I also don't have 200. Who's a tasty bull? Who's a delicious on a burger? It's you. It's you. I don't really have a go-to dessert, believe it or not, Meat Poindexter. Before you make fun, I don't exactly gorge myself on desserts. It's just, it's nice to have a little bit of, like, you know, a cookie a day. Except even that's probably too much. The graphics are pretty. Well, I have jotted down a potential positive for graphics, so yes. But yeah, I tend to lean more towards pastries than other things. Oh no, I have a massive sugar tooth. But I don't gorge on sweets. I don't know how else to say that. Like cheesecake or pies or pastries or whatever. as opposed to, like, actual candy. Like, I'm actually not into candy, generally speaking. In fact, I would have to really think about it to think of candy that I actually like. There's a few, I just have to think about it. I'm not usually into cake either, but that's because cake is usually boring. You know, you get a cake, it's like 80% bread, and then like a little bit of frosting, and that's just not interesting to me. Nope. Not gonna ask. Why are they so hateful? They're looking for a murderer, turning into murderers themselves. That's how a town changes. But what does it have to do with me? You look like a murderer. What? Guys, do I look evil? Don't answer that. Actually, that is... I think you're joking, Savicon, but that is 100% true. Because... people who... That is a nice texture. People tend to think that if you have sweets in your life, that you'll gain weight, and that's not how that works. If you were going to gain weight, it's because you sat down and had an entire pint of ice cream in one sitting, right? It's not... There's nothing necessarily healthily wrong with just having sweets periodically. It's the spreading it out. It's kind of the thing. As opposed to, you know... nom, nom. This is actually one of the reasons I tend to not buy cookies from the local bakery. Because the cookies are like in a giant bin. I guess this isn't giant, but they're in a big bin. And so there's like 30 of them. And I will not eat those before they go bad. And it's just such a waste. So it's like, no. Anyways, keep your footprints warm. How do you... Never mind. Hi, everyone. What are you wearing? Oh my god, is it that cold right now? Actually, I kind of like the pattern now that I'm looking at it. Anyways. Is this where I'm going? This is where I'm going. Hello? I can talk to all those people, apparently. Hey, what's up? Locked shut. Won't let anyone in. Not that I object. There must be order. And so it was ordered. Who locked my house? Saburov, of course, the governor. Where did my father go? So you're Barak's son, then? The one who left town so long ago. You missed him by hours. Guessed it wasn't in the cards. Sorry, I was busy defending myself against 3 people who tried to murder me. Couldn't have gotten your say yesterday. Everything would be different then. He waited for you so eagerly. Yeah, explain, or I'll kill you too. He's dead. Dead? Dead. No one knows how. Rumor has it he was moited. Load of bull. He was like a father to all of us. Who would kill him? I don't buy it. So that's who was killed tonight. Dun 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 dun! Crowd's gone mad, like frightened children. So eager to catch someone. Anyone had no idea who. Some say it was an outsider. Others, a Shebnak. And when it hits home, people are quick to drag the clay wench from the depths of memory. I'm sorry, the what? A Shabnak Adir. A thing of the steppe legends. Okay. It was a killer. You really think so? Isidore was a man. Men must not kill men, and so men do not kill men. Sorry, guys, it's okay. It's okay. Ape must not kill ape. We're cool. We're cool. I mean, he makes a lot of sense, that guy. It's all logistical. Where do I go now? Yeah, I don't even have a quest marker now. Well, that was a fun game, but never mind. I do have a quest marker. Of course, he wasn't killed. Wait, what? Saburov's in charge? Well, yes and no. The real ruler is Fat Vlad. Or Vlad. Vlood. Money's power and the town's business all belongs to the Olgimsky. The factory, the abattoir, the railroad. All his. The Canes have the power of fear. And Saburov, well, he's technically leader of the 3, but only technically. Where's my dad's body? No clue. He likes to bring the dead to your father. You know, a doctor. How will we live now? Unbelievable. The war, the train delayed. What a terrible year. Do you even have a place to stay now? I don't need to go anywhere. I am home with the dead. Okay. Don't do that to me, game. Hey, kid.
Enough blabbering.
Why are you covered in blood? Who are you? That's not important. Who you are, that's important. I'm old Barak's son. What I want to know is, why are you covered in blood? What is wrong with you? Whatever. Yeah, nice meeting you. It's okay, it's my blood. So it's alright. Yes and yes, respectively, Dr. Winter. I mean, it's a pretty normal idea, Zactap. I wouldn't say I like it. God. I mean, you could have done worse, Darth Trinius. You could have said that, like, that's what your girlfriend looks like. I can't even talk to them. What are those... What is in her hair? I can't zoom in. Whatever. Okay, Right. Yeah, we looked evil, so people tried to kill us. That's not a joke. That is actually what happened. Okay. I like how the rivers are supposed to be its feet, by the way. More tutorials. That's the exhaustion mechanic. Well, I was gonna go to her first, but sure, why not? You know, Sinister Wing, I know you say that this game has good music, but it'd be nice if there was music. I mean, I can guarantee you with absolute and total certainty that I will not like this game. But that's neither here nor there. That's not my job. So who the heck are you? I'm the ferryman. What do you want? I've got bad news. Alright. Someone's sharing your features spilled blood. It became known. People want revenge. They say whoever murdered the 3 men at the station today is also responsible for Simon Kane's death. And what else are they responsible for? What else? You won't like it. The townsfolk realize murder is no longer taboo. People sensed they can now kill others. Okay. First, they looked for a Shabnak Adig and killed several women. Then they went after the steppe creatures, the Eodongs. They're frightened. They've turned into animals. Yeah, exactly. Guys, it's okay to kill people. Oh, what a relief. Have you ever seen the movie, or movies, I guess I should say, The Purge? You ever see those movies? They're total nonsense, but the concept has always amused me. And there's actually some cool ideas there that they totally don't explore whatsoever, because the movies are total nonsense. But one of the things that always amused me is, especially some of the earlier ones, they're like, I can't wait to murder people because, you know, I don't like your lawn. And I'm just like, what? Bit of a jump there, right? Hey, Kay, what's up? Now, see, Kay just talked in all caps, which means I have to murder him. I can't wait for the day when I can murder him, because he talked to me in all caps. One of the actual excuses for that was that they felt jealous of the slightly better financial success of one of the other families. And yeah, how does that society function? Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. Moving on. So, the townsfolk have realized... I'm sorry. Have realized that they can kill other people. So they seek to punish murder by turning to murder themselves. It's like a craze. It's September, you know? Steppe herbs are in bloom. Of course the herbs are to blame. You have nothing to do with it. I know, I'm a ferryman. Well, almost. Actually, I'm a train driver. I know you're on my train. Yeah, I wasn't alone, by the way. Oh, you were. We drivers can feel the living weight. There was only one human being on that train, and it was you. I used my credible power of sensing bodies on a train. Ugh. I suspected it was just a dream. Like the entirety of this game. The townsfolk aren't too fond of ferrymen and drivers, so we will help you. Go to Quay, excuse me, show your face to a worm, and he'll take you wherever you ask for a fingernail. Show your face to a man and help you out with equipment. I have a fingernail already. Cool. I'm sorry. Like, Silent Hill at least has the excuse of having a literally magical demon town, which can morph itself to torture the people who visit it, right? You dislike Aladdin? I don't have a knife on me. Pretend this is a knife. Shink! There's only one response to not liking Aladdin. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Is it the remake or the original? Hang on, let me take back the stabs. Okay, stabs, take it back. Do you like the original Aladdin? Because if you don't... while we're waiting, I might as well move a little bit. Since we're on a timer, and we're gonna starve, because we have no food yet. Okay, you like the original. Knife, dagger, it's a back scratcher. Back scratcher, put away. I haven't seen any of the live action stuff yet. I also have no plans to. Well, the good news is he doesn't, Venetia, so that works out. Hey, Thirst. I mean, maybe this is a demon town? I don't know. They do, Venetia. But they haven't done anything with them yet, and indeed have no plans to, that they have announced, despite the fact that they have announced many of their plans. For like years in advance. So if they're going to do anything with the X-Men, they're not going to for at least, I guess, 4 years at this point? Up into 2025. So... problem for another time, I suppose. Hello? I wonder if we could get an actual weapon later. You know, something other than our fists. We did have the combat tutorial. So we know combat is a thing. Yeah, I can't wait for another attempt at the Fantastic Four. Maybe this time it won't be total garbage. I'm sorry, that implies they were all total garbage, and they weren't. It's just, you know, the most recent attempt. Oh my god. And the first attempt. Why does my rep keep going down? God. I haven't even done anything. It's just like real life. Oh. Oh. Hang on. Too real. Too real. Okay. I mean, I have played a game where the combat tutorial was literally just a joke, and there's no actual combat tutorial. Or combat, excuse me. That's why I walked that back, Blue Wolf Alex. I wouldn't call either of those movies good, to be completely honest, but they're not that bad. Only farmers, though. That's interesting. Yeah, where's my knife, speaking of which? I have a gun slot. That's encouraging. But I don't have a knife. Like, I should have a knife, shouldn't I? I killed people with it. It broke when I wielded it. Oh my god, this is Resident Evil. Or Chronicles of Riddick. There's that rep, still going down. Could you quit it? I find the very first Fantastic Four film, as in the really terrible one, to at least be funny compared to the Eric Bana Hulk movie, which I have nothing... No, I have only one good thing to say about. And that's the transitions, the screen transitions. There you go. I came up with something good to say about it. Hi. What are you? Even in handcrafted town like this, there's an underground, a rat's nest, at odds with the law, at odds with good morals. People climb to them with dubious challenges and requests, but not Moida. Not until they were told it's okay. Where's my... There we go. So, they're thieves. You know my master. He's your friend, and he hasn't changed since you last saw him. How is he your... What are you? Got it. Magical town. It's a magic town. They got magic... puppets? What do you call those people? Where's my pen? He's a reflection. That doesn't help. What's a reflection? In context. I'm not giving away the fact that I'm a vampire or anything. Damn it. So I was thinking about a concept. It's a theatrical concept, which this game is currently using. And I don't know what that concept is called. I actually used that concept in a video I put out, and I was trying to describe it as that concept because I was doing it deliberately and nobody knew what I was talking about. This is gonna bother me. I don't even know what to look up for it. I failed at finding it earlier, too. The concept is, it's easier to describe via example. Let's assume for a moment that a person walks out onto a stage play and they've got a stick with a picture of a lion just taped to it. And they do this. This is the concept. You know now, based on blah, that is someone who is playing a lion. They don't literally get in a costume. They don't literally go doing that. That's a separate approach. That's a separate concept. Those are the two concepts. You've got the representative thing, whatever it's properly called, which is when you have the mask there and you just... the audience associates that person with that mask up as a lion. And then there's the type of thing where a person actually goes out there and they are in a lion costume with a lion outfit crawling around on all fours, which is less representative and more, you're just looking at it straight, right? And I can't think of what that freaking concept is called, and it's bugging the crap out of me. I actually went to school for this crap, if you believe it. Did theater. Anyways. I've been Jekyll and Hyde, for God's sakes. Not that I'm a villain. I can't think of the damn name for this. It's not Brechtian. I'm looking at you guys' things here. Okay, so Commedia de however you pronounce that is not it. They use this, but that's not it. That's not what I'm thinking of. Whatever. I'm just going to say representative. It's the word that popped into my head just now. I'm going to use it. We're going to say representative instead of literal. That's how we're going to define those two things. And you're probably thinking what video I'm talking about where I did that. That would be the extant video. Because those are not literally supposed to be Final Fantasy characters who are walking around in a completely unrelated thing. It is supposed to be representative. That's actually also how the Star Trek animations are going to be as well, because I don't have the power or money or time to commission hundreds of custom sprites, so I will be borrowing existing sprites and using them as representative rather than as a literal presentation. I was going to have a new video of that done for you, but then my computer died. Anyways. I've already decided I'm not going to read all this out loud, by the way, just as an FYI. To use another example of what I mean here, by the way, one of the things that could be done in a play, I mean, that makes sense, Gum Gum. I dislike groupthink too. And agree with me. Is you'll have a scene like... I mean, it's literally the example of the fourth wall break. When a character... Let me go back to the mask thing, because they could use this as a signal. That's why it's representative, because the audience knows what this means. So let's assume for a moment that let's go back to the lion example, and they've got the lion thing here, right? And what could happen is in the middle of a play, the actor or actress who has the lion mask could lower it. At that moment, the audience now knows they're no longer playing the lion. And then the actor or actress could say, well, I see now that my master has decided to utilize their political position in order to try and force a marriage upon yon fair daughter, but this will not work out well for my master. Were I capable of speaking to him, I might encourage him to dissuade him away from this terrible topic, but alas, all I can do is roar and claw. And if I were to do that, he would have me put down. All I can do is but watch this tragedy. Mask back on, and now he's back to being a lion, right? Now that is literally a fourth wall break, but you see what I mean by the representative thing. Because you can use representative characters in a theatrical setting in order to literally say things or speak things that otherwise would not be possible to do in a form that resembles narration but isn't actually narration. I swear I went to school for theater, like I said. I've been in a few plays. So let's talk to Bob here.
Feels like my stitches are popping.
That's gross. Look who's entered my humble home. Could that be my pal Artemy the artist? The Artemy who cuts arteries? The Artemy who cuts arteries? Maybe. No, I don't recognize this man. Too soft! They must have kept him swaddled and coddled, whatever palace he ran for. I left for school, dude. You know what? It's good to see you, too. Little bird told me you're a hard-boiled criminal now. I'll admit, I got misty-eyed with pride. Lucky for you, I can store you anywhere in the warehouse. No quail nor nightingale would sing a tune. I mean, you're a storekeeper? Not a keeper of stores, but stories. This town, this great machine. I wouldn't call that great. The gears don't turn on their own. No, not till they're slick with secrets. You... grease... Okay. What's your plan? Do you know about my father's Moida? I do, may he rest in peace. He was a decent man, the best sawbones around. Do you know who murdered him? Nope. Sniffing the ground ourselves. He didn't think it was one of mine. Listen, we don't cut folks. We honor tradition. You don't kill people unless it's okay to kill people. Duh! Although there was one fella, Barley. He left our little community a month back and got himself a new one. Do you have to be glaring at me while you're talking, by the way? Now, they do cut folks, but they wouldn't touch your old man. They aren't fools. Seems there's at least one fool in this town. What's the plan then? Revenge? I'll find out who's behind this. Then we'll see. Just stay away from Sabarov. I mean it, Cub. The man's a hawk. All might makes right. No sense. He'll throw you in jail first and only think months later. I know you're thick-skulled, too. You charge in there shoulders squared, thinking, oh, the truth will win out. Bull crap. Stay away, you hear me? Alright, alright. And now he's smiling instead of glaring. Wow. He's de-glared. Slightly. What is L? What? Okay. They wouldn't suspect me of patricide. I got into town... I guess they wouldn't know, though. Okay.
Wisdom's good to possess. Better still is cleverness.
Right. Tough time for a friendship. I mean, if you can even call this friendship. Gravel-hearted Lara won't look at me, and Stalk's even worse. He completely ignored my plea for help. You need help? You got outside recently? It's chaos! Innocent souls torn limb from limb. Everyone's lost their mind, hunting the culprit, a step golem. But others, they're after your hide. All this going on, naturally, my men ran into a mob, barely got out alive. They needed sawbones. What? I feel like I say that a lot in this game. Alright, I can patch him up. Where's your men? Not here. Shiner dropped by. Said they're waiting for death in a hideout. Poor piecework. He's got knocking at heaven's door. Got something stuck in the belly. Can you believe the folks? They're all shapeshifters, shedding their skin and eating each other. Gross. Yeah, I'll stop by the patient when I'm in the area. You find anything in his belly he doesn't need, don't toss it. Bring it to me. It might be useful. Sure. So, let's see. I think I'm starving, based on context clues. So let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and eat some food, see what happens. Let's see what Caspian says. Caspian says thank you very, very much for the Dragon Age Inquisition. Much obliged, as always. Hazardous? I don't even know what Hazardous is on about. I think he's actually clinically insane. Like, if we took him in front of a doctor, the doc would be like, dude, this guy. Like, materials, I'm just saying. Please don't, Hazardous. First of all, it was $2,000, okay? I had the money. It's alright. It's all good. Second of all, it's not like there's much that could be done about it, right? Third of all, it's not even technically fixed yet, so it's entirely possible that it's something else. So if you want to put that towards something real, you can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna... I can refund that. I'm totally cool with refunding that. I can hit the button right now. I can just hit this button. Right here. Whoops. Why would... Okay, I'm not gonna hit that button. That's the bad button. We don't want to hit that button. Although I could. I'm not sure how that'll work, actually. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Okay, now I have the refund button in front of me. No, Dr. Winter. Okay, so I don't like misinformation, so here's the full story. Something caused my old... So we'll call it CPU 1 and motherboard 1, okay? Something caused CPU 1 to sufficiently fry motherboard 1's CPU socket, okay? So other CPUs would no longer function within motherboard 1 regardless, because the CPU socket was simply destroyed, okay? I guess I could show you. It's this one. It's right here. This is motherboard 1. This is a paperweight, right? This is a very expensive paperweight. This socket right here is blown. It's nuked. I can say this with 100% certainty because I've done hardware tech support for a living, and I also worked with a lot of other people who have also done so. This is gone. Now, we're not 100% sure what caused this frying. It could have been the old CPU, CPU 1, but what would actually trigger CPU 1 to do that is a little bit questionable, because obviously there's simply the possibility of hardware failure, but it is within the realm of possibility that the serious issues that were happening for several weeks, which included the game I'm streaming right now and HOM 5, which were causing repeated and consistent having to pull the power cord level crashes, might have pushed that over the edge in order to cause the issues we're running into. Cyberpunk is also possibly involved, but much less likely, because we didn't have pulling the power cord level of crashes with Cyberpunk. That's kind of the catch right there. When you actually have to interrupt power on a motherboard, that is bad, and it is the kind of thing you should avoid. Now, it is also worth noting, however, that is generally speaking not the kind of thing that will ruin hardware by itself, which means there was probably something wrong with the CPU. It's just it was then possibly triggered by those crashes. That was all before we even started streaming, by the way. The crashes you saw on camera, that's nothing. I'm talking about the stuff I had to go through to get the game playable before we even ever started streaming it. The stuff you didn't see, obviously, because it was off camera, okay? Sense make? So that is within the realm of possibility as to what nuked this. But I don't actually know, and I probably never will, so, you know, that's neat. Anyways. Probably not just let that stay there on the ground. This is... I don't even know why I'm keeping this. I could literally throw this away and it would not mean anything whatsoever. This is trash. Because it's a motherboard with a CPU slot. Doesn't work. This is spare parts at best. You know? There is effectively no reason to keep this around whatsoever, other than sentimental reasons. There is not, Bragwin. Might work with soldering. If you know how to solder a CPU socket, go for it. I do not, admittedly. But anyways, back to the game. Right. I was figuring out Hunga, which is that button. So, okay, that makes sense. So I'm still very hungry, if I'm understanding this this screen correctly. Mostly exhausted and doing okay on thirst. I'm also not very healthy, and I am dying of immunity. So that's cool. That's cool. Hmm. Okay. Oh, yeah, I have a lockpick, which has durability. Alright. Okay. Well, since this is apparently mine. Hey, coffee. And a rusty scalpel. That's kind of gross, actually. Oh, we're entering hunted status. That's not cool. Yep, we're now hated everywhere. Although we were hated everywhere earlier and it didn't kill us, so that's neat. There's Hedonistic. Thank you, Hedonistic Mantis, for the sub. As always. I don't suppose you know where you want to put that. If you do, well, that's cool. If you don't, well then... we'll put you with the motherboard. Folks here believe any affliction can be smothered in bandages, and any decently soft cloth can serve as one. Makes one wonder how people with such advanced medical knowledge even get sick at all. Listen, Blue Wolf Walrus, all I'm saying is that I will kill them over and over again if I have to. But only if I have to. If they leave me alone, we're cool, you know? That's all I'm saying. Go ahead and bandage myself up there. Get my veins a little bit going again. There's coffee, of course, which that says is unhealthy, which is funny because that's actually not true. No, really, look it up. People have been studying coffee, and it's, yeah. That's true. It's the Assassin's Creed method of not being wanted. Just kill everyone. We good. Ah, Resident Evil. Got it. Got it. Clocks equal saves. Nobody cares about you. That's true, we're not death walking in this game. We are dead walking. Bit of a difference. Can I talk to you? To any of these people? No. Okay. See, that's a weird question, Gum Gum, because you're proposing the idea that a purge would exist within the Empire, which obviously it wouldn't. So I can only imagine you mean, hey, there's this other society and they have a purge, but the problem is, the purge actually is one of those things that doesn't make sense. You know, it's nonsense. The only way to actually make it make sense is to write up a whole bunch of additional backstory and world building that they have not bothered to do. So the answer to your question would depend on the world building, which doesn't exist, therefore I can't answer you. Are you sure, by the way, Hazardous? I really don't mind refunding that. I really, really don't. I know you got upset at me because I suck, and I understand that. A hat in time. You got it. Yeah, exactly, Sierra Mike. It's the exact same kind of thing we were just talking about with dessert earlier. Dessert is not necessarily unhealthy, depending on what you do with it and how you do it. Gorging yourself is unhealthy, regardless of whether you're eating dessert or not. Tell you what, Hazardous. I'll accept it unless I win the lottery. I guess that would be today or tomorrow. If I win the lottery, you have to... And I mean this sincerely. If I win the lottery, you have to cut that off and you don't owe me jack, okay? Because that's how that works. Debts are canceled when the debt is no longer mathematically reasonable. Okay? Relevant. That's a good word. When it's no longer relevant. That's not how banks work. Yeah, well, that's how I work. Why is that a heart? And shouldn't that be like... Where the hell am I? Okay, so I need to go this way, I think. Wish I could move a little bit faster, but whatever. Do you hate me? Maybe I should hate you back. Yeah, exactly, hedonistic. But I'm hated. Oh yeah, I can shift to sprint, but that hurts my thirst. So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I wouldn't do that, Guido for life. First of all, anything that is currently in the queue would be considered a debt in my mind. Ergo, I would have to actually go and, you know, pay off that debt. So, I would have to keep streaming until I finished streaming everything that's been funded, even if I won the lottery today or tomorrow. That's how that is. No, it's okay. I know exactly how to fill my hunger. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Hang on. Ah. No, I haven't gotten around to it, Gum Gum. I'm sorry. He's so delicious, Carwelis. Bowls are so delicious. And nutritious. Look, I'm on a quest, Sinister Wing, okay? The only prescription is more stabbing. Let's see, so this is why I don't actually talk to people. Right here. Oh my god, this controls so weirdly. I can't even put into words how bizarre this feels. Hello? And we're dead. Okay. I couldn't aim. And I couldn't do a power attack. That's cool. Well, that was Pathologic 2. It was a fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, we're a doctor. Sorry, the doctor. Oh yeah, our weapon broke, apparently. Oh, that sucks. I mean, the point of Silent Hill is to avoid combat entirely, so I'm with that. That would explain it, Sinister One. Because, yeah, that just... It felt like I had no control of the camera. And when I would hit the attack button, there was like a 2-second delay before it actually, you know, would be like, oh yeah, let me attack. And I'm just like, what the hell? Am I drunk? God. Anyways. Right. So, I guess this is a good time to look up cheats for this game. Give me 1 second here. I'm just curious. No, Gum Gum. No, 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 no. Hey, what do we got here? Okay, so... wow. There is... Huh? Hey, Oculus. Hopefully, but uncertain. Thank you for the sub, as always. Much appreciated. Thank you. Do you know where you want that one to go? Apparently, this game has... This was a good thing to check out. This game has console commands, apparently. Let's look this up, shall we? Looks like they don't get a plus for console commands, though. That sucks. There is no clip. Is this built on the source engine? There's no clip. There's invincibility. There's unlock. There's add item. There's change the speed of the game and change the clock speed in the game. Delete an object and spawn an object, but there's no script attached to it. You can also apparently change your stats. And teleport. Diablo 2 I can do. You got it. Thank you again. I should do something while I'm thinking about it. Ah, Unity Engine. Okay. I mean, it's Diablo 2. That's not exactly what I would call surprising. Okay. I wonder. That's what I thought. Okay, so inventory. Inventory. Things. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I remember playing Diablo 2 as a melee quite well. And when something like this... Where the hell... So, okay, now I'm completely turned around. So you said I should go to the closer one, which proves that clearly I'm missing something. Because to my knowledge, there really isn't a closer one to do other than talk to the other dude. Because that's waiting for me to actually have someplace to go, which I don't have yet. That requires money, which I don't have yet, and that's meeting a dude. So I guess I can go meet a dude. Alright, whatever. Let's go meet a dude. We can even get a bit from Michael. 1 bit. And this bit is actually... It's actually this huge Kefka bit, which is why it's awesome. That's a lie. It's awesome because it's from you and you're awesome. But the fact remains that you are awesome, and I don't know how else to say that. You ever worry about that? Like, how do you sound sincere? It doesn't matter if you are sincere. It matters if you sound sincere, right? Like, how do you communicate that? It's always... I've talked about this before. I used to bug the crap out of me as a kid. Because, you know, I would get a gift from my grandparents, for example, and I would be thankful. It's awesome. Thank you. But I always worried how to say it. How do I communicate to them that I am thankful for this awesome gift? Thank you, Grandma, for burger time. No, really, I meant that. It was really kind of her. She was an awesome figure for encouraging me to go into video games, right? And she didn't really know which games were good and which ones were bad, so she would get the one that was, you know, the big one. Like, she would get the one that was super popular, that she could just ask the person. And then she would pick out another random one. This is not a joke. This is what my grandma would do. She would go find one that looked interesting. Nowadays, I would call them concept games. But she was just looking for something that looked like it would be interesting or engaging. And so she would be like, and grab that one. And then here you go. And thus we would have Burger Time. That's how I got Burger Time. And I actually did enjoy that game. It's probably a crap game. I hope to review it someday. It's right there, actually. But, you know, you get the idea. You didn't say what you want to put that bit towards, by the way, Michael. It's okay, Sister Wing. You're fine, you're fine. Dude, my grandma was legit. So we've established that I can't kill people, which is interesting. And I know that sounds like a strange statement, but it is important because from the construction of the game's narrative, it kind of seemed like I might actually be able to kill people, and it looks like that is not true. Or at the very least, not under the circumstances I am currently within. I can apparently get a gun later, so that might change eventually. You,
The soul's mechanics mirror the body's.
Barak. Artemy Barak. Apologies. Is it true your actions have already resulted in 4 deaths? 4? First of all, 3. That's what I thought. Who the hell are you, buddy? Danil Dunkovsky, Bachelor of Medicine at your service. But before we speak any further, I'd like to clarify a rather crucial thing. How highly do you hold your sense of duty? Too highly, clearly, since it brought me back to this hellhole. I mean, everyone goes to Silent Hill for some reason, right? From this point on, you owe me. I just saved you from a rather grisly fate. I don't remember seeing a rescue team. Your Reuben has utterly murderous intents. Isidore meant quite a lot to him. Your father was his mentor. Reuben even considers himself old Barak's true son, unlike you. Anyways, you're to blame for your father's death. Oh my god. Why? Why am I to blame for this? This is why I just want to kill all these people. Thank you, Savcom. And by Savcom, I mean Valvedrix. Sorry. It's the second time I've done that today. Thank you, Valvedrix, very, very much. I'm sure you want to put that towards FF14. Or you don't, apparently, but that's okay, too. It's all good in the hood, which wants to kill me. So I guess it's actually the opposite of all good in the hood. I managed to convince him you didn't actually kill your dad. Well, not empirically. But I'm under the impression that in his mind you still caused your father's death. You did, after all, take your sweet time getting here. Well, he was counting on your help. Is that true? No! And I sense some foul play in your valiant attempt to save me from my best friend. Look, you have my condolences, but so we've established that you owe me. Let me explain how you'll repay your debt. With a knife! I'm just going to keep this here. I feel like I'm going to need this a lot, this particular campaign. We've established that you owe me. Let me explain how to repay your debt. Things are about to get a little tense, and I only need one thing. Do exactly as I tell you. You're a doctor, right? I'm a surgeon. Thank you. I am the doctor. Allow me to sum up. Reuben told me he's the only decent doctor in town, but you're a competent surgeon. I need you alive, healthy, and quiet, and close. And well, the kitchen knife's actually in the closet right now because I was using it to open up the motherboard that's currently in my computer. So I can also get an actual knife, but those are actually sharp, and I don't want to just play with those. I've also got Frostborn behind me. That's a little heavy. Spare me any wild improvisations. I'll be the one handling the situation. Medicum morto edipere. Okay. New Vegas. You got it. I'll need to see if you're any good first. For now. Cheers. Why are those thoughts connected? I've actually thought about it. I mean, I did buy the... Oh, where is it? The fake pipe here, which I'm totally going to use in the rumination, by the way. Today we'll be talking about theatrical video games. I won't do that on the recording. Ahem. Oh, that guy was worthless. Let's get out of here. Why, yes, he's in there. I'm a doctor. What's the issue? You were poisoned. Alright. Well, you guys get to wait, because you're way over there. Secretly, I'm gonna let them all die. Oh, please, please do not get hyped for this rumination. So far, I have approximately nothing to say. Well, that's not true. I have one thing to say. Why did they run? Whoever they are. What are you doing here? Why are you kissing a skull? If it was my hands and people ran, it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed and hid my face. But you haven't done anything wrong. Why are you ashamed? I won't explain it to you. I did nothing wrong. I just brought my bones here. These bones are mine. I didn't steal them. I tell the truth. You're a weirdo. What's so strange about that? No, 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 no. You're a weirdo. Super weird. I suppose that's fair hazardous, but it's also worth noting the overwhelming majority of what I talked about in that game was gameplay. And I'm hungry again. Sweet. That... It doesn't exist. There's no magic or anything. God. Okay. That's the most depressing thing I've seen so far. I'm apparently the most out-of-shape doctor I know.
Closer.
Well. I really don't like this combat. The timing feels completely off. That's, like, the main problem that I'm running into there. I have died, although I reloaded the save, so technically I haven't died in this timeline. Honestly, I probably would have too, Gelato. If I'm being completely 100% honest with you guys, I would have walked away from this game already. But this is my job, and that's okay. As I said, I'm just not into surreal. So by the time I got about halfway through the intro, I would have been like, okay. Moving on. What's next on the... What is next on the list? I actually don't know off the top of my head. No, at this point, I'm sincerely debating just picking up a walkthrough and saying screw it. Ah, Horizon Zero Dawn. That'll be interesting. Never played that on PC. It might actually be good. Sorry, I don't mean that. I have heard bad things about the PC port, that's what I mean. You sensed a new... See, this is why I say Magic Town, or Demon Town, if you prefer. Right. Mm-hmm. 3,000 for a gun. Okay. Well, that didn't help. Alright. Go talk to Ruben again. Yeah, I'm sure the lack of music is supposed to be adding to the tone, but honestly, it's not really working for me. I'm not going to turn on the music yet, but again, if I wasn't streaming, I would have already turned on my own music. I literally have a playlist called Dead for this kind of thing. What do I dislike about the surreal? That's an interesting question. I suppose the answer is everything. But that's not really a useful answer, even though it is an accurate one. I find nothing interesting or worthwhile about surreal. To me, personally. I'm not saying it has no value, generally or universally, but that it has no value to me. It's like walking up to me and saying, Lore, I offer you super death. And I'm like, but I have no use for super death. You know, I do not want to super death. And they're like, but it's super death! And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want... There's nothing... Okay. Thanks for the super death. I appreciate it. You know, it's not for me. It is... It might be coffee, that's unrelated, but it's never going to be for me. Not a Tim Burton fan. Tim Burton I vary, depending on it. Like, Nightmare Before Christmas isn't particularly surreal, par exemple. But some of his stuff is a little bit eyebrow-raising. Now, Lynch! I am very much not a Lynch fan.
I'm exhausted.
So anyways, we're gonna go back to this one. Yep. Surgeon. Okay. Grab this. Okay. Now to go die again.
If you bend your mind toward a challenge...
actually don't know what to say to that hedonistic, so I'm sorry. I don't either. Well, there's only two sides, Gum Gum, and they become one side pretty quickly. So that should answer your question. Let's pick up the quest. Pick up the quest. Okay. Beetlejuice I'm kind of iffy on, but, you know, it's probably one of his more decent works. Edward Scissorhands is certainly an interesting one. Are you kissing the skull? You haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You're a weirdo. Moving on. There's the music. Music. It's gone. What is this, Half-Life? Gonna avoid that area entirely this time. No! No! Whoa, whoa, whoa there, buddy. Careful there. Yeah, I admittedly tend to not like weird for weird's sake either. It's one of the biggest reasons I don't care for anime. In general. And I know that's an unfair comparison, and that's why I try not to do that anymore. But, you know, there is a lot of anime that is weird, and there is a lot of anime that is weird for weird's sake. Ergo, not for me, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Listen, all I'm saying is that if you guys want to start chatting about anime in chat, you're more than welcome to. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go save this guy's pathetic and terrible life. How much is going too far? Well, the moment it's gone too far is the moment it's gone too far. I know I have a bit of a reputation for being a very organized person, but I don't have an exact metric value for something that is too boring or something that is too weird. Well, ironically, I do have a metric for personal taste, hedonistic. I call it the positives and the minuses system. Maybe I should establish a weirdness metric. If you've gotten up to 13 lynches, then you're too far. So, I paused here because I want to read this out loud. This guy is like, oh my god, he's super stabbed. And I'm like, oh my god, you're an idiot, and you're probably the cause of this. His response to me saying, you know, that you are probably part of the problem here, is, no, we were doing God's work. Who did away with old Burak? It was a Shubnak, that's who. So we tracked the man-eater. Then all the step trash poured in, yelling, she's no Shubnak. They took out shivs, 10 of them on 2. You killed a living woman? We avenged Burak. Piecework himself grabbed her. Don't you glare at me like that. Come on, help the man. Can't you see he's about dead? Do what Bad Grief said. Some doctor he's sent us. Shut up. Or die. Or both. It was the only way to be safe, Hazardous. Surgery! What? I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I have a rusty scalpel, which is partially broken, but what's our durability on this thing? Oh, it's not going to tell me. Oh my god. Okay, so, How many of you, speaking of anime, how many of you have ever heard of Trauma Team or Trauma Center? It's a series of video games. It was on like the 3DS, the Wii. Surprisingly good stuff, actually. I played several of them co-op with a friend of mine. There's this one sequence. Okay, so some of you may actually recognize the game I'm referencing. I forget which one it is. We're on TV. We're on national TV, and they're doing like this surgery stuff on TV. And so we're like, all right, ready your scalpels. And we're watching. And so what I do is I turn to my friend Gary, and I turn to Gary and I say, "Race ya," and he looks at me like, "What?" And then, so the health of the patient goes down if you jab them in the wrong spot. But you can also rapid fire jab, which in lore means you're grabbing the scalpel and you're stabbing them to death. And so that was amusing to me. I'm not evil. Because the absurdistness of it just amused me. Like, you're this big professional doctor who's working with the government at this point in time, by the way, who literally has magic powers to help you be a better surgeon. And you get on national TV, and the first thing you do is you stab the patient to death. So that not the juxtaposition, the non sequitur of that amused me. But what really threw me into laughter fits for like 5 minutes, and still makes me laugh to this day whenever I'm reminded of it, as I just was immediately after it. So there's always a failure clip that plays for each individual surgery. In this case, it was the television host going, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" in exactly that kind of horrified voice. Oh my God! Anyways, sorry. Perfect storm. Moving on. Okay, so now to figure out what the hell I'm doing here. So he has something in his stomach. So let's go for the stomach. Stabby, stabby. Okay. Now let's drain some blood. Okay. Now, let's loot whatever that was. I'm out of things to drain blood with. I'm really tempted to cut his brain, though. That was his liver. Well, he didn't need that. Oh, while we're here. Alright. Aw. Well, okay. Hey, there's his heart. There we go. Hey! We saved his life! Sweet! What have you done? What are you doing? I'm sorry I damaged his brain. I've just gotten started. You're next. So what'll it be? You can lie down on your own, or I can help you lie down.
Come here.
Hey! Alright, so let's cut open his brain. Oh, the scalpel is broken. Damn it! No! I can't kill him more. And yes, and now rise! Alright, there's a scalpel in here. Oh my god, a surgeon who's a necromancer. The best part would be the surgeon has to actually be interested in saving lives before ringing them up. So this is the you should rob people tutorial. No, it's cool, guys. It's cool. I got this. Oh, those are kids. I can't kill kids. Damn it. Hang on. Time to die. It's the only way. It's the only way. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Ugh, even if it's mine. Did I just get kicked to death in the back? I've heard of butt kicking, but damn. Alright, so reload. Listen, Don Crow. I was just trying to empty whatever was in his stomach, or at least what I thought was his stomach. Where am I? Okay. Yeah, I'm admittedly not actually enthused about the combat, but again, I'm willing to be, to let that go because in several games, and this one might be one of those, combat's not the point. Now, the catch there is, what do you do about that? In all sincerity, like from a game design perspective, how do you deal with that? Hang on just a second. I gotta make sure I pick the same dialogue options. There we go. Because if you make it binary fail state, someone catches you and you die, well, that sucks. Because that just feels bad, right? Oh, someone saw you. So that sucks. Now, there's two other types of mechanics that could help work with that. One is stealth mechanics, but this doesn't really feel like a stealth game, to be completely honest with you, right? So stealth might not really work for this kind of a setup, and no, crit source. The second thing, though, that might work for this is recovery mechanics. Now, I've talked about recovery mechanics before. In this case, that would be about avoidance and escaping, right? Now, the fact that I can run away from a fight is fine, and it does appear that I can, although they have the ability to interrupt me too, and that sucks. What? What is wrong with you? So some kind of like avoidance / recovery mechanic would not go amiss. And that would make combat non-binary failure and still something that has a consequence if someone is actually able to catch you, right? Just thinking randomly here without knowledge of this game in particular. However, everything I've just said all boils down to the same thing. There shouldn't actually be combat. And that's why I'm kind of raising my eyebrow on that one a little bit. Is it feels like the fact that combat exists is actually a weird thing. You know what I mean? Like, if there was no combat option, let me say this in a different way. If it was entirely about avoidance or stealth, because apparently that's in the game according to chat, or, simply recovery, trying to run from a fight, that kind of a thing. In other words, if there was no option to raise your fists and fight back, but instead it was entirely about avoidance, then that wouldn't bother me, because at that point, the game is making it very clear the overall approach and style. The fact that you can fight back feels strange. And the fact that you can fight back means we have to judge the fighting itself. And there is a combat tutorial, and there is combat, and the combat's not great. And that's why I'm kind of in a weird state here, because the combat does not feel good, and it is clearly it's a mechanic of the game, which should be considered. Now, depending on how the combat is actually used in the game will actually really determine whether this is a positive, negative, or both. So I'm going to go ahead and jot that down right now that I've talked that all out. Because that's what I'm thinking right now. If they use combat well, that would be a positive, but combat itself sucks, and that would be a negative. So, combat usage, ? Combat, ? Whoops, wrong thing. So that's what I'm thinking so far on that. And I should update the HUD. My apologies. So we're currently here. And here. Exactly, Blue Walrus. See, Blue Walrus understands entirely what I'm talking about. I'm just kidding. Of course, you don't agree with me. Every time I give a negative to a game, nobody agrees with me. I'm going to do a test on that. I shouldn't tell you about that. Never mind. Nier Automata. So we will probably be doing all of the endings near Narset, which sucks. Or at least we'll go as far as I feel like going. We'll see how that works. But if nothing else, we need to at least give that negative for ending B. So let's perform surgery. So apparently this is the gut. Loop that out. Drain the blood. Rip all their blood out of them. I'm so thirsty. Okay, we're good. What is this splinter? You're clearly not from around here. As a local tradition, we don't keep knives. They might call it cutlery, but it sure ain't for cutting. Godless beasts who neither fear life nor death make these disposables. You jab once and then it breaks. All about observing the custom. This custom has nothing to do with breaking shivs. It's about not cutting bodies at all. You jackass. But whatever. Well, that's exactly why it's in the potential range, Guido for Life. I'm talking it out because these are my thoughts, and that's the point of a stream. You know, the interactive part. I haven't decided if it is a negative now, because I don't think I could fairly decide if it's a negative now. I haven't seen how they've used combat. That being said, I don't think combat is good, but again, I've also only seen punching and stabbing so far. And if I were to judge the combat of Kingdom Hearts 1 based on the first 5 minutes, it would not be very positive, so yes, here's the you should burgle this place thing. There we go. Alright. Where are we at here? Okay. So now I gotta ready to get run again. Actually, hang on a second. I do have some blood. Blood is compulsory. I think I will eat an egg. Yes, no obnoxious backseating in general, please. But, yeah, I do get it. I do get it. I really, 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 really do. That's why I try to be lenient about, you know, backseating. Because I get it. I have the exact same urge to jump in and be like, oh, you should do this. Or maybe you should try this. And I just bite my tongue. Because I know exactly how that feels when someone is right behind you saying, hey, you should do this. No, I'm going the right way. I'm going the right way. Although all these fences, my god. My arch nemesis. No, Colgrim. We will be playing Skeletor, of course. I mean, is there another option, honestly? I thought about making a custom character, but I don't think I'll actually do that. Right. I mean, backseat gaming is a more complex topic than it sounds. On the one hand, it's bad, but on the other hand, it doesn't work that way. Again, ignoring the obvious enthusiasm or the fact that, you know, people want to jump in, there's also a fairly large gradient of what it constitutes backseat gaming, right? If someone pops in and says, well, I have no idea, Complism. If someone pops in and says, I'm trying not to use a direct example. You know what? I don't actually feel like talking about it. there's no way to talk about that nicely. So, instead, all I will say is that it's a gradient, and the less you are towards this side, the better. In just in general. Yeah, the Halo experience was very different than FF14. That is a great way to put that. So, give me your ball. I don't even have a doorstep. Okay, whatever. Well, I bought a bowl. But yeah, backseating, there's a skill to it. I do actually agree with that idea. Because sometimes someone is frustrated because they literally don't know something. Either a game isn't tutorializing properly, or maybe there isn't something that the player caught, or maybe there's something they missed. And so the player literally does not know that you can push blue switches. Let me just make something up off the top of my head. So popping in and saying, well, it's okay, you can go ahead and you can hit the blue switch, that's fine, because that's assisting in a way that they have no knowledge of or understanding of, right? If the player flat out says, help me, then that's fine. That's not backseating at that point. That has officially left the realm of backseating and gone off to just answering someone's request for help. But if there are gradients of acceptability, like, oh, maybe you should do this, or the game maybe doesn't incline itself towards something, but they might enjoy something, so maybe you mention something like that, like maybe you should go this way, or whatever, you know. Stuff like that. There's gradients. That's my whole point. And that's why I try not to be completely anti-backseating, because I know quite a few streamers are completely anti-backseating, and it's obnoxious, to be nice. To put that as nicely as I can. Psychotic, if I wanted to be a little less nice. Like, some streamers just get absolutely ridiculous with their anti-backseating setup and rules. Which is why I don't put up the no backseating flag. I have no idea, Eclectic. I've never played it, so we'll see. Thank you, Polyedron. Alright, did he de-aggro? Looks like he leashed. Excellent. I'm going this way. I'm going this way. And dying. But, you know, that's okay, too. It's okay. I like dying. It's the point, right? Death. No, don't repeat, Gum Gum. You once again have this situation where I don't have anything to say. Why did he attack me? Well, because I'm hated. Oops, it's actually to the south. Well, thank you for the bits, Polyedron. Hang on, let me make sure we're paused here. There we go. Much appreciate. And shoutouts to Brazil, excuse me, or Brazil. I always hear it Brazil, but I feel weird saying that, like I'm saying it wrong. Hello. There we go. Okay. Well, let's. Oh, you know what? No, I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. Well, I mean, I know it's Pathologic 2 Sinister Wing, but I didn't know anything about 1 at all whatsoever. There we go. Okay.
Talk's cheap. So what you reap.
No, I patched them back together. You didn't mess around at school, huh? To hell with stock. Let him sulk. He only makes it worse for himself. So what's the plan? Plan's to live. I mean... What'd you find inside piecework? This! Your men are fond of shivs, huh? Even incendiary bullet would be less cruel. Well, that's for people. That's people for you. I've been wondering what that... I'd been wondering what our kind townsfolk fashioned those little barbs from. I see, I see. This explains who broke into Warehouse 8 last week. The threat unravels. I'll make a note of this. If you find more shivs, bring them to me. Don't give them to the kids, even if they offer bullets. Bullets? Those kids have some nerve. Armed to the teeth, playing at war. They carved off a nice slice of turf while you were gone. Won't be long till Kane starts pushing us around. Look, point is, they'll offer you loot they stole from me in exchange for pointy things. Premium items. Right. That's not the most horrible thing ever. But, you know, it's cool. It's cool. Surgery's done. Shiv's out. So I need a place to sleep, but I'm terrified of sleeping, because sleeping wastes time. I'll only have 2 quests right now. Well, I should be able to sleep here. He even said that, but I haven't seen anything that I can interact with around here. I'm starting to think he lied to me. Hey, you, did he lie to me? The kin has not accepted you. Is this just... Is this The Hills Have Eyes? Is that what I'm playing? Uh-huh. Okay. Creepy local weirdo. Just gonna file that away under creepy local weirdo. It's okay, I now have 3 Star Destroyers over here with which to destroy this town. And I may call on them soon, because WTF. Excuse me, WPTF. What the Pafardal? Okay. Why would you ever live in this godforsaken town? And I'm not even sure I've never meant that more literally than this. I'm pretty sure Tristram is less cursed than this town. Both of them. So why is she a Marine? Gum Gum. Towns in Dishonored are less cursed than this town. There we go. They have a choice? Ah, yeah, Demon Town. Frickin' Demon Towns. I guess they should have a choice. You know, they could kill themselves. So, let's see here. How we doing? How we doing? Where's our... So food's a pretty big issue. Thirst is slowly getting worse of an issue. And we're not quite at the point where we're going to pass out and die. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Reputation's fine. They just all want to kill me for some reason. And that's fine, you know, it's normal. I have far too much experience with that. Whoops, that's the wrong button. I meant to hit that button. She liked the look of the helmets. I like that. Yeah, can we just... Where's that general from before who wanted to destroy the whole town? Can we call him back in? Like, hey dude. Yeah, wipe out the town, please. Are you sure? I am 100% sure. Wipe this town out, please. Okay. I'm gonna be right there saluting him when he goes to destroy this town. So, who's sick? They died. Why didn't you come sooner? What kind of doctor are you? I'm sorry, your kids are dead and no one cares? Not kids, those were our dogs. Who poisoned them? Somebody evil. They're planning on holding a trial, and they want you to be there, too. You want me to be at a trial for who poisoned your dogs? Sure. Let me just save really quick here for no reason.
Half men, half boys. No more knives, no more toys.
Alright. They say you're the son of old Burak. He was a doctor. He saved lives. It said that you kill instead. Is that true? Is what true? The town is full of gossips and rumor-mongers? Yes, it surely is. Calm down. No need to get defensive. Or are you uncomfortable doing this in front of my soul and a halves? Calm down, me. You want a trial? Go on. Is it right to kill? It is always right to kill. Sorry. See you around, Polyedron. We need to know what you believe. Old Burak wasn't just a doctor to us. He was a teacher. He knew how to live. You say that you're a son. You're here to take his place and answer. Is murder acceptable? No. But killing is a little... different categories, buddy. Those are interesting options. In case you can't read those, option 1 is, it's right to kill someone who preys on the weak and defenseless, to take revenge against those who deserve it. Option 2 is only into self-defense. Option 3 is only to protect a loved one. And option 4 is, killing is never right. Ever, 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 ever. Ever. It's the only option I don't agree with on that list. Everything else is... I think I might flip a coin on this one. Alright, so... Let's go with that. To protect a loved one. Because I gotta be real. If someone was trying to hurt my niece, they would be dead. What's with the frown? You're thinking about your father, aren't you? Yeah. So murder can be right. Who are you planning on killing? It's not about me, but about us. My soul and a halves always hang together. Answer the question. Sometimes killing is acceptable. Good, now we know what the kind of man you are. Here ends the trial. You're free to go. Well, I guess I should talk to you if I'm ever confused. Apparently time has passed now. Right. Well, it says the urchins still need assistance, so obviously I'm not done with the quest.
Put my trust in Paw, Claw, and Whisker, not you, Drifter.
Okay. What did Lika do? Poisoned our friends who are weak and defenseless. You mean the dogs? Yeah, huh. So why do they... So... I'll handle this. I can kill him for you. I can snap his neck like a twig. I could give him a spanking. Man, I'd rather snap his neck. Jeez, no. Hey, Mike Romano, we're debating if we're going to go murder someone or possibly kill someone. Or, whatever. I'll figure it out when I get there. What's with the leash? He's untrained, so just giving a command won't do. Where's the gumstone? You know what? I know where it is. Okay, so... To kill or to be killed? That is the question that preoccupies our people, Captain. We need killing room! Okay. Decision time. And that means save. That's how I make decisions in real life. I hit F5. Oh my god. And then sometimes I have the wrong window open and that just refreshes life, and that's why 2020 turned out so bad. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to screw up life so much, I just kept refreshing. Okay, thanks for the food. A train full of needles derailed outside his window. Why do you care? We part because we don't need pins. We've outgrown them. See, I'm a surgeon. It's like a butcher, but with a sharper knife. Are they even working on it, Harriet? Would be, I suppose, a question. Well, she sounds like a wacky character to me, Gum Gum. You know, like someone who's just not quite... Kooky, there we go, kooky. There we go, that's a good word. That's a good word. Yeah, a surgeon is a butcher who knows what he's doing. You could also say a butcher deals with the dead. A surgeon, not necessarily. Okay. I'm gonna pretend we never saw that. Of course. Let's see if we can get over. It looks like we can get over here. Maybe? Well, we'll find out in a minute. Oh yeah, let's go to the Stonehenge over here. That's a great idea. I don't have a piano, Tin-Headed Hydra. Alright, I'm ready. For anything. Except, in fact, what I actually found.
The worst is yet to come.
So, who are you? Are you here alone? Did you poison the dogs? I'm a good, kind soul. Explain yourself. Soul and halves are real punks, and Notkin is the worst. And punks have to deserve to suffer, right? But you can't hurt them. They just wipe the blood away and keep going. So you need to hit them where it does hurt. Make them see how it feels. That actually doesn't sound like a lot of money to me, Gum Gum, but... You know, like that wouldn't even put her in the 1%, you know what I mean? That might not even put her in the 10%. So, he did poison their dogs with intent to hurt them. I know some people who thinks that would be a killing sentence right there because some people are rather defensive about dogs. Because they're so cute and fluffy. And possibly other things. When you make 400k, not when you're worth 400k, Michael, there's a difference. And if you're making 400k, then you're worth in the, I guess that'd be the 9 to 10 digit range. Yeah. Currently requires to have an income of 421,926 yearly. However, that varies based on the state. In some places you need to be over 700,000. In some states you need to be making 1.7 million a year to be in the top 1%. Anyways. So I guess it varies more than I thought. I have no idea. I'm just going to flip a coin. Hold this leash for a second, would you? What? I recognize your face. You're an herb bride. We can't have a relationship. Your hands are so heavy. Don't touch me, or else the dress will tear and it's no good. The tears in the dress must appear on their own during the dance, just like the earth is torn when it releases it. What? Huh? Okay. Just gonna pretend I never saw that. Do 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 boop 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 boo do 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 do. Pausing the game, alt tabbing, turning on some music because holy crap. Okay, we'll do the Morrowind test first. This really doesn't fit. This is completely the wrong tone for this. You know, the funny thing is I'm actually hungry in real life, too. Sure, El Lobo. I'm sure the music's great if it would actually play. Which it hasn't been, which is the problem. Speaking of which, I should jot that down, too. So let's... Morrowind doesn't fit. I can tell that already. We're only 50 seconds into the song and that doesn't fit. But I have another thing that might work out here. Oh, I see what's happening. Told you guys, we're gonna start doing the Mechanicus test. Why is my health going down? Oh, that would be one. There we go.
When the cat's away, the mice will play.
Hey, you okay? I'm local, and we've met. No, you have to woof. Oh my god.
No time for rattling.
So what'd you do to the boy? We didn't kill him, so instead you... Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the audio settings, because the music's quiet to me, and I'm listening to it straight, which is why I'm weirded out that you're saying it's too loud, so I'm wondering if there's a bug somewhere. Or, like, the audio sliders are wrong somewhere. Like, this is loud. I can barely hear this. There's got to be something going on here. Hang on, let me mute the game just really quick. Now this I can actually hear when I turn it up, but it's at like 20%. Is it not? The in-game music is muted because it was not playing. Weird. Alright, whatever. Let's try this then. Well, that's loud. I know you can't hear it. Hello? There we go. We'll see how loud this is to you guys. Anyway, so. You don't dig pits in the town. Where's the pit? Spiritfarer. Spirit. By the way, hi, Mockingbirds. Sounds familiar. No, I am aware of it, but I have not played it.
I don't have enough hands. So sad without my caring poke.
Well, thank you, Zoctav. So, what'd you see? Did you see me get off the train? Okay. Well, now I only have one thing left to do. Let's get to sleep, basically. Night City. Easy answer, Harian. I wouldn't even have to think about that. If absolutely nothing else, Night City has indoor plumbing. This is actually the soundtrack for this game, yes. This is in-game music. Well, no it isn't, but this is the soundtrack which I am playing on top of the game. I do S.A. Ross, but not really on purpose. I do it in the order that makes the most sense to me from a production standpoint and a flow standpoint. If you're asking what order I did the recent movies, which will be going live this year, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I didn't start with Solo. What am I doing? You. It'll take me 35 minutes. As I spend 35 minutes here. There we go. Hey, I made it here. Sweet. Got it. Avoiding that. In which manner? Hedonistic. Like visually, gameplay design, to live there, aesthetically, lore-wise, death-wise. There's a lot of metrics here. So which one I would I prefer to live in? I'd probably go with the one from 1, not the one from 2, if I had to pick. The one from 1 is horrible, but, like, those frickin' wasps, you know? That's all I gotta say about that. I don't see why not, Zactaft. As long as Sabine Wren crushed him like a bug. Okay, maybe not, but it would be a cool fight to see. And it's not like Boba Fett wasn't in Clone Wars, so... You know, he's already there, right? I'll tell you what, I'll save, then I'll go talk to the worm thing. Now see, what Aggressor is doing is what I would consider acceptable backseat driving.
Stop right there.
Hi. Because when I see something like that and I hear growling, I would not interact with that. I would avoid it like the plague, especially in this game, in this setting, when random people are trying to kill me left and right. So, under no circumstances would I actually reach out to that thing. Unless someone told me to. Apparently this is a PG-13 warning.
Get back here.
Alright, so since someone is trying to kill me, I'm just gonna bail on that. Hi?
My heart beats uneven.
It's been 5 years. Why are you giving me that look? You smell like blood. I'm a surgeon. We share the same pain now, siblings in suffering. What are you talking about? We dearly loved our fathers, now they're both gone. Yours killed this morning, mine this past spring after the Battle of the Fords. He was killed in action? I don't want to talk about it. Why are you back? Father sent me a letter 2 weeks ago now, a disturbing letter, where he wrote his involvement in something dangerous. What are you gonna do now? You know what? You aren't going anywhere. I won't let you. Take a look at yourself. You can barely stand, let alone run out chasing some assailant. Eat something and get some sleep. I mean, I did literally just get attacked, so... Thank you. And... She didn't give me any food, though. I think she lied to me. That's okay. I accept the lie. I even have blood on me. Sweet! I've never even heard of these games, Mockingbird, so that probably answers you. See, now once again, I would not have opened the cupboards, because that just seems really rude to me, so it wouldn't have occurred to me to do that. Like, if this is an Elder Scrolls game, sure, you loot everything that isn't labeled red, but in a game like this, I wouldn't loot, because she invited me into her home, and, you know, I'm not a dick. And the game has already mentioned several times that looting and burglaring is a thing, right? As in a thing that you know, that people will not like, and that you should totally do because you're evil. Morality, morality. So I wouldn't have looted elsewise. What the hell is this music? I'm sorry. Let's skip ahead there. There we go. Nom, nom, nom. That is a very undurable knife. Still gonna equip it. Put that over there for actual surgery. Okay. No, I ate it, Sinister Wing. Didn't you see my hunger go down? Or it's right there. What? Okay. Never mind. Don't mind me. I couldn't possibly eat it unless it's already in my inventory. That's just nonsense. This is an appropriate pain. This is the mood of this game right here. Life is pain! Sorry. Well, let's save. And to sleep. For 6 hours. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Okay. Can I help you? Kane, don't you mean Burak? It was my idea to catch the murderer at the station. Go lay an ambush. Train came off, man got off. Get him, boys! That was stupid of me. Killer would be getting on, not off. Take it as a lesson, fool! They called me Birdie, short for Bertrand, and that's one of the kinder names. Birdie was fine. Name's just a name. I got murdered at the station. Didn't really know what I was doing. Figured I just went along with the herd. Don't worry. Your life is better now that you're dead. That's what the dialogue said. That wasn't me. Did you enjoy your little chats? They don't blame you, as you saw. I suppose they haven't quite come to terms with their fates yet. Maybe they have. Death does that to people. You have no idea. I'll tell you a story. Once there was a man who wanted to fix everything. He begged on bent knee for a chance to turn back time. When he got it, history repeated itself. Good job, we told him. That's your fate. He asked us one more. So we let him try once more, but with a catch. He who denies his fate will be punished. He'll keep living as a cripple and lame and wounded. See where I'm going with this? Do you try again, then? I don't remember, and I don't care. If you did, there's nothing happy ending. You can't fight fate! You can't fight anything! You are worthless and pathetic and should die! Oh my god, this combat is terrible. Alright, they're dead. Let's loot them. See, you're a man of fate. What are you trying to prove? You can't change fate. Fate is not to be fought, beakhead.
I think I'm fading. My clothes are worn out, threadbare.
Hi. Cub, you remembered our friendship. What if that thing killed it? What if the soil spit out a Shabnak after all? Don't be silly. Even I don't believe those tales. You're the one acting silly. You've forgotten everything. Don't you remember the bones we found strung together? Yeah. Drink some water. Calm down. Even if a Shevnak came into town, it wouldn't climb up a building. Now, it's time to go kill whatever that is. In the face. I should probably save first. Okay, now for face kick. Why am I still exhausted? I just slept for 6 hours. I usually don't get that kind of... Look at that! I am straight exhausted. Listen, I was doing all that sleep killing, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't resist. I was, hello.
You've changed, haven't you? Or am I seeing things?
Hi, thief. I'm a surgeon. You believe in divination? No. Well, that makes things harder, because you're going to do something awful, and I could have saved you from disgrace. But I guess you'd rather stay gloomy, self-centered, and bullheaded. Listen to me, you need to leave town now. Done! I'm done! I'm out! I'm out! I'm out! No, that's it, we're done!